terrace apart, which, given they're wearing the prison bar, does represent not to tear the Magpies away from the panel.
All right, folks, welcome in. We've got the derby going on over here in Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide taking on the Adelaide Crows. This should be a fantastic and an epic game. Let's just have a look at the ins and outs before we go any further. Players are just out on the ground. They'll be bouncing the ball in a minute. Just for Port Adelaide, Vincenti coming in, Mora's, Burton, McContrey coming in, going out, Lorenz, Rioli, Sweet, Evans, Berry. Christian Moraes is the sub for Adelaide. Mitchell Hinge coming in, Brody Smith out, Sam Berry is the sub. Let's head down to the ground for the derby clash between Port Adelaide and Adelaide.
Yeah, buckle up. Put down all sharp objects. Port Adelaide, Vincentini back into the team. Game 7 against O'Brien. All the experience in the world. In his first showdown, Peterling caught high. Caught high by another man playing his first. Joe Richards led wide to Miller.
Bergman started in the middle, guys. That's never happened. He's never been to a centre square bounce in his career.
No, and he's going to Jordan Dawson by the looks of things.
Yeah, well, Jordan Dawson's leading the coaches' votes. Has been in sensational form all season. Here comes the foul. Loops it wide. Keys. Good kicker from there. He goes to Tex. What's the Texan going to do? Went at it. Balked it. Kick smothered. Ricochet. Big attack from the fog again. Bergholm is there. Comes out to Cumming in his first. Big fly out of play. Ball in.
Not sure that Vincentini's first attack on a footy was what he needed to be. He's trying to line up Taylor Walker. Didn't know how to do it. Fascinating, Bergman and Jordan Dawson. That means that Bergman can go with him when he goes forward, I would imagine.
Walker doing the ruck as he often does when it's inside 50.
I'm in zone. Thank you, mid zone. Yep.
Vincentini again against him. Need boundary line his friend if he wants it. He doesn't want it. And he keeps it alive to his detriment. Van Curvis. What's Luke Van Curvis want to do with this? From just outside 50.
It's also no surprise to see Will and Drew doing the job on Isaac Rankin. I think everyone expected that.
Kicked his first goal in his career a couple of weeks ago. Luke Van Curvis. He might have his belief high. Oh, gave it a run.
Connor Rosie started in the back half. We speculated pre-game about that. That's a trigger or that Ken Hinkley can pull when he needs to if he goes forward. But right now in the back half, Neil Bullen has responsibility for him.
Jones. Massive crowd behind him. Acting like sardines on the hill. Could be headed for a record. Showdown crowd. Aggressive kick. Drew. Down the spine. Farrell. Had Sid on the flyby. Used it as a fake. Free Nan Curvis. So Brian went down and he got one for high.
They'll have to come through the middle, Port Adelaide, when they come out of their back half, so they've got to be brave.
Brian and spears it low. Thilthorpe can't do anything with it. Bergman can't do anything with it. Rankin had a chance. Peterling fields it back. Worrell having an outstanding year, the best year of his career. Heads wide and shows exactly how confident he is these days to Fogarty. Sends it inside 50 to Thilthorpe. Holds it up like he's the Lion King.
Well, the matchup was wrong. So they had Jones had to go to Thilthorpe. Now, Radaglia caught up the ground for whatever reason, whether he's with Fogarty or not, but the Jones, Lockie Jones versus Thilthorpe's not the matchup they want when they go inside 450 for this very reason. He gets a jump at it and is able to hit the ball at the height. There's nothing Lockie Jones is able to do.
It's a beautiful thing seeing him attack it that aggressively. Taking the ball high above his eyes and then he struts. It's across the face. Tex is there and it could have been marked, but come through defensively. Safety first again, the option from Vincentini.
Didn't get the reward, but I love the kick from Fogarty. He didn't bomb it. he actually put it in with some trajectory to allow Phil Thorpe to run and jump.
Well, Francis jumped in. He's starting out of the goal script full forward. Now Pepper, Worrell, good battle. Michael Laney gets there, feeds it inside. Worrell with poise again to Phil Thorpe. Mi, his father was presented his showdown medal pre-game. Son of Darren, just a great power player, but a three-time Sandford Premiership player in this jumper as well for the Magpies. To Burgoyne, a great Port Adelaide name. His father wore this jumper in the Sandford and in the AFL, and his grandfather wore it as well. Heads wide to Georgiades, and it's allowed, not a bump. Butts takes them up.
A really bad kick. They're going to be challenged in their forward half anyway. And Riley O'Brien had just slotted himself back in the hole. He looked at him, Burgoyne, and then kicked the ball straight to him.
Burgoyne went up, couldn't kill it though. Coming the crumb, Aaliyah got a toe on it. Dawson picks it up. Keys feeds it on. Fogarty.
Good thoughts there.
Launches, still top, should get there. Jones won't cut him down in time. He got there. He really had to motor late. That was brilliant.
It's brilliant by Lockie Jones. You can see Phil Thorpe complaining, but I think he just took it too easy. He just thought it was a fait accompli. He'd marked the ball. Jones wouldn't get there, but the despairing effort knocked it out.
Gee, they're getting lost in transition there. So Aaliyah's got responsibility for Phil Thorpe. The last two inside 50s, about 40 metres away from him.
Byzantini and Walker go at it again. Burgoyne, Slick, Jones. Central. They do want the corridor. That was his default position. He didn't go wide. Worrell. Ole lifted the arms up. Heads wide. And bright mark to the Shelley. And he holds it up just to let the crowd know he'll get some blues.
There's been no damage on the scoreboard yet, but the contested possession's already 10-3 in Adelaide's favour. That was one of the highlights that we showed before the game started that Port need to lift in.
Dropped by Matthew Nix last year when he did the infamous no Keith sled to the Port fans. It's been brilliant this year. For the first goal of the evening, Josh Trishuli. Looks pretty good. Sink your teeth into that.
It's a great comeback by Rashidi this year. As you said, he got lost last year, Dwayne. He was in the footballing wilderness, but they say he worked harder than ever in the pre-season, got himself super fit, and the results are there. We know he missed those games with the cracked ribs, but all of a sudden he's back to his goal-kicking best, doing things that we saw him do when he burst onto the scene, and now he's back doing it again in 2025.
So a lot can happen in 12 months. So this is the maturity that we're talking about with Matthew Nix pre-game. You know, you can get a bit impetuous with youth and get a bit carried away with what's going on in the build-up to this big game. And from all reports, he's done a lot of growing over the off-season, and he's getting some on-field results. 5-1 inside 50, contested footy we talked about with Roo already. It's a good start for the Crows.
Good bounce. Ryan and Vicentini. Drew. Remember the toe. Soligo had his hands down. Got a clearance of sorts anyway. Rosie. Burgoyne. Farrell. Heads long. Lord from behind. Got it!
This is their challenge to be able to be really competitive against this good Adelaide defence.
Pokes it in hope. Holds out free, or is that Finlayson's mark?
Free kick to Georgiades, I think, Plato, but really promising signs because the jump and the ball from Finlayson is competitive as well. So the two blokes who have to be competitive all game in Lord and Finlayson both had good looks then.
First showdown for Ollie Lord. It's game 25, but he's never played in a showdown before, so a big night for him as well.
So against Jordan Butts for holding the left arm of Georgiades, not allowing him to compete for the ball.
Taking the most marks inside 50. It's nervous for defenders.
You got the footy. Don't risk it, mate.
And he's normally pretty good at goal. But it's a little bit different in front of 54,000. Played in front of 5 last week.
Yeah, the game comes with a little bit of added pressure, doesn't it? We know how much is at stake. Yeah, but you don't want to be missing those sort of opportunities. They're few and far between.
Hinge back into the lineup after being out with 1 week of suspension for the Crows. Finds Keys. Sends it long. Curtin playing forward. Radically was with him and then dropped it. And a spin out of trouble by Butters. Had the core strength. Rosie didn't exactly know where he was going, but that works to Aaliyah.
You kick.
Drew. There's that inside kick. Hal Pepper, he's got 3 crows around him. Bentley cuts it off. It's a good kick to Phil Thorpe. He's already had a sider from here.
So important to cut the footy off. We talk about it nearly every week. We go and watch more and more footy. So these forward half intercepts and then converting them into scores is so critically important. Clubs put such a high value on it. So pressure it up inside their half of the ground, win it back and find a target.
First kick was an ordinary one. Contact not great off the outside of the boot.
Playing with that dislocated finger still. It'll work back, but has it got enough work back on it? It was fisted through in the end anyway.
There's a bit of talk going off. That's Sam Powell Pepper who's engaging with the umpire. You can hear that through the mics. It's been warned about 8 times so far.
I heard the umpire say that's twice. No more.
3 times he's out. Short to Jones.
Outside 5.
Yes, the descent rule has
Stand.
dissipated a bit in the last couple of seasons since it was brought down with an iron fist. Winds the spear. Missed Georgiades. Rankin shrugged the tackle. And Curvis, good hesitation step. Drew had him. Phil Thorpe under it. Great hands again.
Jason, it's a repeat. It is an absolute facsimile of what we saw with their last inside forward 50. That is, turn it over in your front half, intercept, and then importantly, hit someone on the way back.
Going to go around the corner. Needs to strike this well too because he's a fair way out from goal for a around the corner kick. But not a great confidence after his first couple of long drop punts.
Most this year is 5 in a game, most ever. 5 in a game, which he kicked on debut. And that'll work around enough. Wow. He got that pretty late.
Nothing wrong with the contact there. When you are kicking around the corner from a long way out, it means you've got to kick closer to the belly of the ball. And you can often belly it and it goes the wrong way. But he struck that a treat. So what they're doing with these turnovers, guys, what Port Adelaide don't want to do is kick long up the line, so they're trying to pinpoint passes. The Crows are aware of this. They're cutting it off. And the moment they miss a target, they're getting punished going back the other way.
That's working out beautifully for them. Got their head in the game, their forwards. And their midfielders got their heads right in the game. So great to see Isaac Rankin. We know how exciting he can be, but the awareness and the heads up. And this is Riley Thilthorpe's 3rd mark inside the forward 50, inside the first 10-15 minutes of the game.
So Finlayson in the ruck now against Thilthorpe. Bergman, who, as Ruth said, he's in there for the first time ever to start the bounces, but he's got the job on Jordan Dawson. Umpire might have to sort it out again.
Thilthorpe goes in and Curtin goes forward. So they're maintaining that 3. They're in a triangle formation. Fogarty, Walker and Curtin ahead of the ball here.
Finlayson wins the 3.
It's a big punt putting Bergman on Dawson. They needed to take a punt heading into it, but that might give them a bit in the middle, but it's going to take a lot out of their back line. He's been their best defender this year.
Rosie to Farrell. No one there to really be the leaper. Had 4 crummers, Port Adelaide. Bergman, one of them. Caught. Nankervis. Caught. Dispossessed. Gets it back again. Floats it. Rosie stands under it. Can't mark it. Gathered his own crumb. Caught. Dropped it. Tough to win a possession in the middle of all that. A good tackle by Burton on Walker.
Yeah, but he did well. Tex Walker, he knew he was going to be tackled. He just needed to take the ball cleanly and set up a stoppage. Allowed them to set because he was outnumbered.
Finlayson again with Thilthorpe. Warren Francis. He loves to come hard through those stoppages.
So Alex Neil-Bullen is with Connor Rosie. Spoke about it earlier. He's absolutely beside him. Zach Butters off the ground, just the 1 possession.
Holding Adelaide.
Adelaide 3 this time. Thilthorpe. Oh, not sure about that handball. Mean wasn't sure either. Nearly hit him in the back of the head. Now Pepper. Gone! That was a tackle or a bump. The I said it was a bump. Looked like a tackle from here.
Well, that was a handball clanger. Riley Thilthorpe just absolutely slaughtered the handball. And they turn it over in a good spot.
So Wines pulls the kick, and Finlayson takes the mark in front of Thilthorpe. He just dropped inside 50, and most thought he wasn't going to get it.
Well, it's a clever kick. Thilthorpe was thinking, I'm going to get back to the square for that long kick if he has the long shot or if he kicks to the top of the square. And Finlayson just smart enough to say, well, if he's not going to come all the way with me, I might get a bit of space here on the lead.
Game 4 for the season for Jeremy Finlayson. He's been in, out and back in through the revolving selection door. But this is huge. And he's equal to it.
I don't see this too often, Jace. Hinge comes flying past. You'll see this in a moment. Thilthorpe's got the ball, and Hinge comes past. Had he given it straight away, they would have been going deep inside forward 50, but he kind of missed it, or he wasn't ready for the handball initially, and then he decided belatedly to go. And the turnover was horrific in the end, and it was a great heads-up play. Unlucky, maybe. They turned that not to be a tackle.
To the right of the screen, he's pointing, he's got the arm up, he knows Thilthorpe wants to get back, but he says, I'm going to punish you if you don't come all the way. Clever play by Finlayson, and then, importantly, the good kick, the kick they needed to get their teeth into the contest.
He's been wearing that prison bar jumper back in the Sandford team quite a bit in recent seasons, Jeremy Finlayson, and he crossed the line before the bounce then, got away with it, Butters. Slick, and the long launch forward by Bergman into that pack. Hold, free kick. Georgiades.
Well, there's a win for Bergman. It's a fascinating matchup that we've got here. There's Abu going to send the clearance and put this Adelaide defence under pressure from centre bounce. So, yep, hand over the shoulder there. I don't think there's any problem about that whatsoever. This will be a fantastic result for Port Adelaide.
Miles Bergman has all Australian possibilities, you'd think, during his career. He's really getting better by the year. It's a big role for him. If he can win that against Jordan Dawson, that would be a massive move by Ken Hinkley. Georgiades clears it off with 6 points.
It was a good fight, mate, because it was all Adelaide early on. They had the territory. It looked like they were going to control possession and just pepper the goals. They've managed to get some territory back themselves. They've almost evened up the inside 50s. Port Adelaide starting to get a little bit of ball going their way. A few contested wins, and they're putting pressure on the Adelaide defence. Just taking front position, and you have to pay that. Butts puts the hand over the shoulder.
Yeah, so fantastic steadying goals from their two big key forwards in Finlayson and Georgiades. We've spoken at the other end of the ground how well served Adelaide are. Well, if Port Adelaide are going to kick a score that's competitive and good enough to win, these big boys need to get involved. And Finlayson pushing forward early on Thilthorpe was a great result. And then Bergman providing the kick for Georgiades.
Two number 1 rucks back in there. Riley O'Brien, game 130. Dante Visentini, game 7. Dawson gets the clearance, but it was wide, almost toward Port's advantage. Burgoyne free.
Outside 5, you're right.
He's enjoying a nice little patch here. Last 5 minutes been all Port Adelaide's way. Butters on the ground now. This is the second possession.
Pulled the kick late. That's a nice delivery again. So they're making Dawson man up. Bergman's being given the ball. He hits a pretty good spot with the kick. Lord's down there. Got a palm on it. She's hot in the kitchen and very congested.
I love that kick from Zach Butters, though. He's the smart one. He's thinking, right, how can we make Jordan Dawson second-guess himself here? And that is go through his man.
Powell Pepper's there, Butters is there, Rankin's there. Outside of the boot, tries to relieve the pressure with a kick to Fogarty. Fogarty initially didn't know if it was his or not, but went, luckily.
Clear a lead down the line here on his own, so they won't go long.
Heatling. And Horn Francis was with Rankin, so now Rankin has some freedom. Pumps it in the Walker direction, and is that a mark? It is. Well, Tex, is that 50 then?
Has to be.
He jumped into Ali's back.
Well, he won the initial body contact battle against Walker through strength. He got Walker off balance. He was then able to take the mark. We give Tex the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he thought it touched the ground, but once he paid the mark and then he went in and grabbed him and held him on the ground, it had to be 50.
Game 287 for Tex. Radigalia goes long. Visentini was forward on the run. Horn Francis were wrapped up completely, going nowhere. Good spot for a ball up though here. Central, hard to know which direction the ball players are going to dart.
There's upside here. Jason Horn-Francis hasn't touched the footy. Butters hasn't got involved really to any degree.
Richards lost it. Taylor, Heatling, Burn-Jones wrapped him. Crowd want a ball, don't get it. O'Brien wrapped. Taylor in the congestion. Jones the knock back. Back to Taylor. Back to Burn-Jones. Kick smothered. McEntee going nowhere. Funneled out. Bang! There's a hard hit. Wouldn't expect anything else. Michael Lanny caught. Just got it away. That's wide. Curtin with some poise. Keys may do anything.
Richards is down, guys, and on that big crunching tackle. He's sucking it in as the physio runs out to check on him behind plate.
Joe Richards' first showdown. Welcome to the showdown. Wide ball. Fist of sin.
That's a big win, Bruno. Long down the line and put Adelaide manning up on Adelaide's been outstanding. Just 7 uncontested marks for the Adelaide Crows so far. They average 85 a game. So the defensive work put Adelaide the ability to find a free man outstanding.
Clear to Rosie. Hits wide. Bad kick. O'Brien mopped it up with ease. The way back to Butts. So we'll see if they... Well, you read it well, Gary. Back to O'Brien. And back to that congested side. Bumped away from Curtin. Tackle late on Newborn, also playing his first ever showdown. Touch. Tex had to get going. And he barrels one to Foggy. We found some space out the back.
Nothing pretty about it, but sometimes it's the quick chaos kick inside 50 that can work to the forward's advantage. Fogarty gets an opportunity, and they actually need this, Adelaide. They've been really dominated the last 5 to 7 minutes.
2 goals, 1 against Carlton last week. 4 goals in the loss to Geelong, 4 against St Kilda. Round 1. Couple of skip steps. And the umpire's found something here.
50. Against Butters, is it?
Shot on goal for you guys. Was it 50 from the shot on goal, was it?
So it'll be a 50 from the shot at goal, and Fogarty will stay in his home.
There's a big thing going on off the ball. You hear it in the marks all the time. So Fogarty kicks the goal.
They had actually, the umpires had been talking to Butters, and I think it was Rankin who was next to him at the time, and said, if I see it, I'll pay it. So there was a bit of talking going on, a bit of warning going on, and then obviously he transgressed.
There's been a lot of warnings being given.
Yeah.
And if you had to pick one player who you'd think probably wouldn't heed it, it'd be the most fine player in the competition in Zach Butters, and he hasn't let us down. So we'll see if we can, here it is here, you'll be able to see this just about...
Centre of screen, yep. Just keep an eye on it. Rankin and Butters. He just tried to trip him.
A little trip. He warned him. And
which is being petty.
he's been a smart talent. That's what he's been. And take the good with the bad with Zach Butters. Look for him to make up there.
Big price that he's paid there, giving away a goal. He lays the tackle hard. Does Butters. Took down Saligo. Ball scrambled to half forward. Bergman cut down. Rankin feeds it wide. Curtin. Dance step was delightful. Kick pretty good. Fogarty's out the back. The Fog landed like a cat. Gets back to it. Cut off the deck at the post.
I think Phil Thorpe could have marked that, but he thought Fogarty was in position to mark, and he left it for him. There were 2 of them there. He stayed down, Phil Thorpe.
Rosie
It's really a throw from Burt too, but he rushed it through.
Giants. On Francis. Richards, who's up after being cut down with that hard hit earlier, but you wouldn't expect anything else. You don't buy your banana screen on a Friday when you're playing the showdown on the weekend.
So Visentini's gone down the line this time and manned up Riley O'Brien, who's basically been playing old-fashioned kick behind the play as a 50-metre penalty's been handed out here. So just a little bit of the passion and the emotion taking its toll. And I like the fact that the Port Adelaide ruckman's gone down to even up.
Stand, Ben.
Burton to Rosie. Burton gets it back and he can launch a ball. Heads to the pocket and the Hornet got up high. Couldn't quite bring it down. Georgiades. True. Didn't get that anywhere near enough. Keane. Leah floats in.
That's a win again, Brano. Long and slow. Long, high and slow out of the back half is a win for Port Adelaide.
Crows get numbers back. Kick pulled late. Drew. He's beyond his range, so what's he going to do with this? A shallow or a deep entry? Deep to the pocket. Lord from 4 deep. Keane hammers it away. Aaliyah stalking it. Fogarty did well. He killed it to the boundary.
Good result. Good job. Can't have Aaliyah take another intercept mark. Now they set up ahead of the footy as well. It's been on arm wrestle, Jace, which is not surprising.
Dawson just on the 2 touches so far too, guys.
That's a win. It's a real win in a minute.
Visentini has that battle. Bergman, Dawson. Bergman can't really count it as a stab, but he was playing the right spot in front of Jordan Dawson. He stands in front of him again here. Ball knocked down to Drew through the congestion. Flicked it out. Rosie bangs it forward. High bomb. Lord, can he get there to jump? Miller got there first, knocked it down. Butters on the back pedal. That's hard to do. He found Burn Jones and Burn Jones got 50.
100%. So Zach Butters gets the touch, sets the goal up, a little bit of discipline sneaking in. We talked about Jordan Dawson, just 2 possessions. Soligo, 2 possessions. There's a bit of a flow-on effect there.
Yeah, 1 silly goal each. Showdown 57. He's living up to the billing.
It was an important set-up touch from Butters as well, guys. You're talking about all those players that had low possessions. Well, he'd only had 4, and that's extremely low for him as we approach quarter time. So for him to set up and have a goal assist like that, important for his confidence to get himself involved in the game. Running away and still finding the target, it's a clever skill.
Yeah, that's why he's so valuable, and that's Rory Laird, I think, they gave the 50-metre rate.
It was.
Which is an experienced footballer, should. He has to know better than that. I mean, that's just disappointing. Look, I know we're talking a lot about this matchup of Jordan Dawson in the middle with Bergman. The 2 touches, I think it's having an effect. It's having an effect on everyone else around the footy because he's so creative and such a prolific ball winner.
Yeah, he's leading the coaches' votes from Nick Dacos this season, Jordan Dawson. That's how good a season he's having, and he wins it here on cue. To Beetling to O'Brien. Heads to half forward. Rankin's down there. Jones has the big job. Sin with the crumb, but commits the sin by falling over. Mops it up, though. Rosie. Arms free. Sin. Rode the bump. Got it up. Bergman. Drew. Hammered as he kicked it. Wide ball. Darcy Byrne-Jones beaten by Miller. 1 minute left to quarter time. They can take a breather. Fogarty's down there. Phil Thorpe. Second grab. Keys. Great crumb. He didn't get that Monfree's bounce that he was after.
Does Phil Thorpe get the second grab if Keys doesn't take it? He looks like anytime he gets a run and jump at the footy, Phil Thorpe, he looks like he's going to mark the ball.
Yeah, he does. And they're allowing him to go after it too. Aaliyah, we know, is a great intercept marker. giving him a run at
It
it.
was another clever kick that allowed him to go at the ball, not just sat it on his head.
No ruck for Adelaide, so Fizzletini took it out of the air. Burgoyne heads wide, and Georgiades had to mark the ground to get that out with a spoil. Two coaches. Port Adelaide with Ken Hinkley in his last season. Matthew Nicks, 6th season as coach, yet to make finals, Matthew Nicks, but this is a golden opportunity. They begin the round 5th. They can consolidate a spot in the top 8 with a win here. Bergman's been brilliant. Burgoyne, handball smothered. Hinge off the deck. Saligo, slick-handed, loops it. Sin, cut it off. He's growing as a player as well. Josh Sin to Burgoyne. Seconds tick, through the wing. Is that a push on Worrell? It's a push against Worrell.
McEntee almost tunneled him, I reckon.
So Lord wasn't allowed to play on, so... Oh, umpire pointed the wrong way.
Yeah.
Umpire pointed the wrong way.
McEntee was the one that fought for sure.
Port Adelaide had players taking off, so now there's a few out of position. Crowe's going to roll the dice. Off hands. Rose there on the buzzer. Showdown 57. It's 28 wins each, and you have the best seat in the house. Great to have you with us. The Crows lead in this Port Adelaide home showdown, 3-4-22 to 3-1-19.
It's quarter time of the showdown.
All right, folks, welcome in again, quarter time here, Adelaide Oval. Derby time. Not much in it. I tell you what, no matter where these teams are on the ladder, she's a pretty close game. 3-4-22 Adelaide Crows, 3-1-19 Port Adelaide. Adelaide, well, they had their chances, didn't they, to go further up, but it's just 3 points. Tell you what, we're in for a cracking game. I'm still waiting for the fireworks to happen between these two teams, as it always does. It's going to be interesting. Packed house here at Adelaide Oval. The crowd have come out to see a great game. They're going to get it. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's just have a look at the ladder prior to this game where Adelaide Crows and Port Adelaide sit. Adelaide, they've played 8. Prior to tonight, they played 8 games, won 5, lost 3, sitting 5th on the ladder. They need to win this game to jump up. Of course, Port Adelaide down there in 13th position. They've played 8, won and lost 4. They need to win this one to jump up into the top 8. Let's have a look at some players' stats, the goal scorers for the game so far. Riley Thilthorpe, Josh Shelley, Darcy Fogarty are the goal scorers there for Adelaide. Of course, for Port Adelaide, Georgiades, Finn Layson, Darcy Byrne-Jones. They are your goal scorers. Let's have a look at the disposal count. Connor Rose for Port Adelaide tops the table with 10, 6 kicks, 4 handballs, 2 marks, 2 tackles and a clearance. He's going all right, isn't he? For Adelaide, we've got 3 on 6. Riley O'Brien, Ben Keys and Darcy Fogarty all on 6. There we go. William Drew also and Jace Burgoyne all on 6. So 6 is a favourite number in the opening quarter. Both those boys for Port Adelaide. My crazy Port prediction might turn out. You just never know. You like the barbecue bars? I tell you what, they tried to take the Collingwood bars. It'll never happen. It'll never happen, I say. It'll never happen. Riley Thilthorpe, he's already got 1 sausage roll on the board. He's cooking it on their barbecue bars jumper stripes. I don't know. There we go. Riley Thilthorpe for Adelaide. 4 possessions, 3 kicks, 1 goal. Nice one. Isaac Ranke, looking forward to him having a big game tonight. He started off a little slow just with the 4 touches, 1 kick, 3 handballs. He's had 3 clearances though, so he's doing well there. Anyone else that you want to have a look? I will update you on the other score in the other game right now, what's happening in just a moment. All right, there is that. Let me take that back up there. Let me just let you know the other game. Of course, the other game we've got going right now is the Gold Coast Suns taking on the Western Bulldogs up there at TIO Stadium in Darwin. Folks, Can you believe it? It's the Gold Coast Suns leading 6-8-44. The Bulldogs 5-7-37. A 7-point margin to the Gold Coast Suns. Half time up there between those teams. Should be another ring-a-ding-ding game between them. Don't forget, I'll keep you posted on the score, the updates up there as they go along. But yeah, fascinating. I would have thought the Bulldogs. But she's going to be a close game. It's going to be a close game. All right, that's enough of me for talking. Hey, welcome everyone in. Welcome everyone in. Manuel, 7, how you going? Said hi. 3, Tress. Hey, oh. 5 more. Peter Barber. Shouty. Eamon Chapman, how you doing? Of course, Addie G was in the house. Sheila May. Shouty. Chia. And of course, I was up there in the beginning. All right, that's enough for me from talking. Let's get back down to the ground. We are within a minute before the bounce of the ball for the second quarter. It's Adelaide by 3 points.
Two perfectly suited players, so that's a win in the early part.
Yep. Let's head downstairs to Sean Burgoyne and Mark Rashido.
Yeah, it's a great contest. Sean, what's caught your eye?
Well, it's the marks inside 50 for the Adelaide Crows. Port Adelaide concede on average 11 marks in defensive 50 across the whole game. In that first quarter, Riley Philthorpe took the 3 marks himself, and they've already conceded 5. They've got to get that under control, Port Adelaide.
Yeah, they looked damaging when the ball come in high. He nearly marked another one as well. Perhaps Tex Walker's the only one that's not doing it at this stage. But Adelaide have led at quarter time on 6 occasions leading into tonight, and they've won 5 of those. The one they lost was against Geelong when they come from behind in that last quarter. So, but this one's got a big good feel about it, Sean. Can't wait for the second quarter.
Yeah, I think Port Adelaide will be happy with where the game's at. It's when they've gone forward, Jason made the most of their opportunities, went inside 50 10 times for 3 goals. That's a pretty good conversion rate at the minute.
Yeah, and I was just following up on what Shawnee Burgon was talking about, the marks inside Adelaide's 50. I've been impressed with the kicks to the tools. They haven't just bombed it high and sat it on their heads. And every time that Philthorpe gets a run and jump at the ball in front of him, he looks like he'll mark it.
O'Brien and Vicentini to go at this ruck contest to start the second term. 3-point lead to the Crows. Soligo. Caught. Gone. Great tackle.
Good follow-up from Vicentini. Fantastic after doing the ruck work, then stopping the clearance that Adelaide looked like they were about to have.
One of the 5 changes, Vicentini, and preferred him to Sweet. Finlayson's inside 50 and he's got it.
She's got a nice little push in there, Gabe. It was subtle.
People go around the country and been watching football for a long time. I know who hate this. They hate the fact that you can put 2 hands in the back and move your defender off the line. So Vicentini did a fantastic job in the middle of the ground. Take nothing away from that, but that's just Mark Keane not having a fair jump at the contest there.
For his second, and to give Port Adelaide the lead for the first time tonight.
We spoke about misses. They hurt.
Well, they might have deserved that, Jace. I don't think you can shove a player under the footy.
Palmer, you think? The footy gods.
Laird heads wide. Vicentini with O'Brien. Butters another possession. Floats it, but Keane waits under it.
Well, if they could get some uncontested mark change, Dwayne, it was taken away from him early. Port will be happy with this.
Keys played for the free and got it. Farrell pleads his case, but he's gets it. Worrell for the flyby and he uses it. Pokes it down the line. There's an uncontested mark. It's to Walker who gets a bill or 2. And he played on outside the boundary. Crowd saw it. It's allowed to go. Dawson's got it. Gave it up. Neil Bullen. Fogarty. Off hands Bergman. Wrapped up. Going nowhere. Didn't have Pryor. Ball came out to Neil Bullen. Wow! Nearly.
Well, he needs a little win because Rosie, he has got the job on Connor Rosie. And Rosie was quieter in the first 3 quarters of the first quarter and then just blew up. He's had 11 touches already leading possession on the ground.
Jones back to Sin. There's a hold or a high tackle. And Finlayson's ball again. And he thumps it. Powell Pepper in a one-on-one with the strength. Worrell went down. Howard Pepper went and got it. And he bends it. He needs the big bounce and he gets it. Amazing. That magnificent sharing that we play this magnificent game with. Does it again.
I thought he'd made a mistake by not drawing and giving the ball to Ollie Wines, who then perhaps could have gone in and had the shot. But it started with the contest up on the wing. It was Keane that tried to make the early body contact with Finlayson, but he gave away the free kick with high contact. So you'll see here, once it comes over the back, it's a 2-on-1. I thought if he can handball and Shepherd, it might release Wines, but then he decided to snap and got the A-grade bounce. Nothing the defender could do about that.
And when we talk about one-on-one wins in a game of footy, this is the ultimate value of it, because it's just him and Worrell. Worrell's been in outstanding form this year, and so the two of them are at it on the half-forward flank, and he prevails and kicks the goal.
Wasn't quite Angus Monfries, but it does bring back memories of one of the great showdown moments. So Port Adelaide in front for the first time tonight. Rosie's starting to get a bit of it. Coming through like a steam train. Dawson. Wide to Neil Bullen. Farrell, Neil Bullen. Neil Bullen went to ground. Farrell went to Sharon. He's got Jones there waiting for it. Missed him with the handball. Flung out, almost a throw. Neil Bullen back, and Radicalier went up. Phil Thorpe, he bends it. He needs to bounce. Top of the goal square. Couldn't quite pick it up when he wanted to. With a Texan hands it to Keys. He makes no mistake.
Was it touched? Port Adelaide very confident. Connor Rosey going back ready for the kick out. I thought Tex Walker could have kicked the goal himself. Maybe too unselfish.
Umpire's call is touch behind. Let's confirm. Review underway.
It's a good touch. That's a great
That is a full-length dive
That's
to fingertip it.
Landing from the captain.
Review complete. Looking assessment, consider them deviate after making contact with the Port Adelaide defender. Decision on the scoreboard.
Well, that's a showdown moment right there from Connor Rosey.
Well, he looks like Clark Kent, so no surprise that he's occasionally Superman.
There was a little double fumble from Josh Shelley too in that. So had he been absolutely pure when he first go at the footy, they shoot the scoreboard.
She put that out in front of Jones, and he might mess it up now. Rochelle hands it over the top. That was bizarre. Keys gets the goal that Rosie denied earlier. Wow.
You wouldn't pick that, would you?
You don't see an error from him too often.
No.
Just a little chip kick, misses the target.
I don't know whether it's the game maybe or the moments, but we just lauded him for his heroics, and then he misses what is just his bread and butter. And in the end, it became a little bit harder than it should have been for Ben Keys, but they got one back.
It's not normally their kicking guy as well, Connor Rosey. They've been entrusting Josh Sin with that normally, but
He should be a kicking guy though, Dwayne. Given how comprehensively skilled he is, it shouldn't be an issue for him at all.
yeah.
Well, guys, you can see now there's some dew being formed on the ground. So when Lachie Jones missed that ball, he couldn't pull up really quickly. So if you're going to take those kicks and you miss, they're going to be very costly.
Bergman to Butters. Slick. Connor Rosey feels like he owes him one. And there's Superman, spins out of jam. Heads to Georgia. That was phenomenal. Connor Rosey wearing the Port Adelaide traditional old school number one, worn by so many Port Adelaide greats, this number one prison bar jumper. Russell Ebert, the King's gone, but he's not forgotten. Brian Cunningham was out there pre-game as well. One of their other greats, and that was just superb from Connor Rosey.
It was a move reminiscent of the jumper because he broke out of prison in the middle there. But he was about to get nailed. He spun and weaved and just exploded.
Over to you, Mitch Georgiades. It's a seesawing contest, and Port Adelaide have the lead back.
Oh, let's package up Connor Rosey's last 45 seconds. So full-length diving smother, as good as you can see in footy. A full-on shank from a kick-in with no pressure on. And then this. Look at him. First of all, Butters' ability to separate here is off the charts. And then this from Rosey, the kick off balance into a hole. Now, I'm not saying he was able to drop it into the hole off balance, but the fact that he was able to get such purchase on it. But look at this. That's burning off Soligo on the way. And then Rosie's athleticism and balance and capacity to get boot on ball. He has had a 40 seconds, Connor Rosie, right there.
He's well read by Georgiades. He left butts standing still, just exploded off the mark, 5 metres clear to take the uncontested lead.
Alex Nilbullen has got that role. He might need to tighten up now. Gee, the role of a half-back flank has changed in the last couple of years.
I can hear it in your voice, Root. Soligo with the clearance to Thilthorpe. This is a great battle. Yep.
Oh, he just keeps coming at the footy, Riley Thilthorpe, which you love about a big key forward.
He floats it to Tex, and Alex Nilbullen about to replay the faith. The footy gods are watching this one for sure.
Throw Connor Rosie, extend Connor Rosie's 45 seconds out to a minute 20 now, because we talked about Alex Nilbullen from the start, the job that he's got, how single-minded he is, and he did a fantastic job earlier. Then Rosie's blown this open. He's out to 14 touches, Rosie, so you've got to get one back when you can here.
Alex Nilbullen. And he's got it. Where else would you expect the footy gods to be tonight?
Well, there's nothing breaking open here. These are two sides that are one's 13 and one's 5th, and we suspect one's going to contend, and maybe if Port Adelaide can arrange themselves. But coming off the belting they got last week, Jace, their capacity to come back and emotionally get themselves invested back in a contest. Not that you need any help here for a showdown, but they're doing it again here. They're coming back and presenting a genuine contest with this Crows.
It's a remarkable study of the football brain, isn't it? That you need a hiding one week to then come out and produce your best the next. And it's like they've done it 3 times this year already, Port Adelaide. Look at that, contest possession starting to even right up as well. This is game on.
Visitini, O'Brien, Wines, another showdown specialist. Around his body to half forward, Laird. All the experience in the world there. Takes a good saving mark. Rory Laird in game 256. A 3-time best and fairest winner. Heads out wide. Aaliyah thumps it from Thilthorpe. Richards, Drew. Nice handoff. Wines with the inside kick. Miller, hard cling wrap tackle going nowhere.
Connor Rosie's now just off the back of the 50-metre arc inside Port Adelaide's forward 50 here. So you're right, Root. That's a different half-back flank roll.
Richards Mead up against the boundary. Wobbles it. And wobbles it wide on the full.
He has got no great interest in defending at all, and understandably so. And he's got a licence to go where he wants. Neil Bullen's got to work out when he has to track him, but also hit him back hard the other way.
Dump wide. Dawson, good grab. He's been taking those all season. Quite a few of them inside 50. Down the line, Thilthorpe.
Probably racking up big numbers, Jordan Dawson, but he's had 6 tackles more than anyone else on the ground.
And Thor Curtin, who got the jump it over. Brian jumped in front of him. Chip kick, Soligo, Rochelle. Can't take the chest mark.
Needed to take it in the hands, Dwayne. Might have had an opportunity to mark that. Allowed the ball to come towards his chest, and that extra time that the ball covers, the spoil gets in from the defender.
Brian got some coaches' votes last week for his display against Carlton as well. Starting to find a little bit of form. Tex Walker does the ruck work here against Visentini for O'Brien to set up behind the ball. Rosie gave it straight to Soligo. Inside kick to Thilthorpe.
Every time he's on the move attacking the footy, you'd swear he's going to mark the ball. He's just an indomitable force, Riley Thilthorpe. Really starting to chalk up the marks now. That's what's that, 6 marks in total.
And it's an amazing sliding doors moment in the way the Crows chose Jamara Ugle-Hagan. Picked one in 2020. Dogs matched the offer for their academy star, and Adelaide grabbed Thilthorpe.
You reckon I haven't thought about that for a while this year?
It's not a bad consolation prize.
In comes Riley. And this one is living up to the expectation.
4 inside 50 marks now. They work their way to goal.
Yep.
If you can, I mean, we talk about some teams that go through a whole teams. We're talking about can go through a whole game and take 8 or 10 marks. So he's got 4 himself, and he just anticipates. So what is it that makes a good forward? Is someone that can anticipate the ball and where it's going to drop quicker than his opponent.
And I'll tell you what makes a good defender is someone that takes a little closer stock than Alir was doing there. Is having a bob each way, a couple of metres off goal side. You've got to be right next to him.
Boys, go square.
I mean, as a defender, you've got to take that person and say, well, maybe a goal gets kicked, but it won't be my bloke. I'm not going to stand 2 or 3 metres off him and give him that separation. It'll be right on his hip, and that way I spoil that ball.
Talked about uncontested marks in that first quarter. Adelaide is 7-2 in this second quarter.
Philthorpe and Finlayson now in the right. Wines. Horn Francis. Forward Hamill. Finlayson just nudged to the shorts, not the back, so no free kick. Michael Lanny feeds it out. Millerer. Peatling hammers it away. Wide, race on. Fogarty used his body well, but almost content to take it out there. They slide into Mark Rashido and Sean Burgon. I hope you're right, boys. Did you get another bump, did you, Roon?
You know what? I haven't been scared too many times in my life, but Darcy Fogarty running flat out at you makes you think twice.
Yeah, with Big Sava in tow too.
Gee. Mark Rashido, who was handed his 4th showdown medal during the week as they did the recount of those showdowns that didn't have a medalist awarded. 4 showdown medals now for Rubel. 5. If they do ever do a 3-2-1 on the Ramsgate, I think he might win the one for that as well. It'll be 5. Peatling's on a half-back flank. Thumps it long. Philthorpe in a good spot again. Got it! He stands there like Mount Lofty with his hands up. What a joy to watch he is. To Tex!
Again, you get a matchup. Lockie Jones is he's not a key defender, and he's forced in that occasion one-on-one with Walker, who just uses the body. Look, it's not the perfect kick from Philthorpe, but it gets down quickly and gives Walker the one-on-one opportunity. You back the former skipper in every day of the week.
That's what we're talking about with Bergman in the middle. He would usually be the one picking up a toll, so he's winning the midfield battle, but it's a loss in defence with him not there.
Tex will play his 300th game later this season. He misses that.
The marking situation, so the height factor starting to really tell. So they've taken 11 contested marks, Adelaide, to just 3 report.
Farrell heads to the wing and good mark to Keane. That front spot on Lord, playing his first showdown and hasn't seen a lot of it yet. Taylor, Laird, Miller, spent that before it earned it. And parting the seas, almost getting through them, and a little in the back through to McEntee.
Drop it. Straight back to you, mate.
One of the ins, 5 ins for Port Adelaide, Jed McEntee. Mead. Burt.
Play on. Good. End zone move.
Out wide for the leapers to go up. In the scramble, Peatling. Ugly kick. Play on, Burton. Is that in the back then, or is that holding the ball? It's a ball up.
Good touch.
Adelaide have been inside 50 17 times, Jason. Scored 13.
Yeah.
That's an unbelievable
Great
conversion.
return, isn't it?
Umpire cutting the players some slack for not necessarily hearing that it was touched. Peatling. Tight ropes the boundary. Walker lurking. Trying to paddle to his advantage. Alir content to let that roll out.
But I thought we were going to get done again down there. We're in a hot spot.
Pressure's just come off the game too, Jace. I reckon the Port Adelaide pressure is dropped down to the 150s right now, which when the Crows take contested marks, that makes it hard for you to maintain pressure. So they're starting to control the ball around the ground.
It's a medal fest down there with Rue and all his medals. Got a Brownlow to go with it, and Sean Burgon with 4 premiership medals. Hinge. Good to have him back. Peatling. Through the hands of Rankin. Hasn't had a big night yet. Not sure it was Farrell's ball. He and Radagalier weren't on the same page there. Radagalier tries to mob it up. Butters sliced through them beautifully. Floats the kick. McEntee can get and go. Hands it off. Darcy, Byrne, Jones. He hits short. Georgiades.
Outstanding passage of play, started by Zach Butters in the back half. His depth perception, and when he's off balance, be able to kick a ball and lob it into a hole as good as anyone in the competition.
Guys, I reckon the Georgiades matchup's an interesting one as well. Adelaide have gone with Butts. I would have thought Worrell's got the athletic profile to go with Georgiades.
Yeah, well, he's been unbelievable, Georgiades, this year in terms of his marking inside forward 50 particularly.
It'll take his best from outside 50, directly out. Kicking into the massive Port fans behind the goal. It's offline. And it's either on the foot or a mark to Keane.
Back to the 9. Stand, Ollie.
Led. Fogarty get near this? He doesn't. His man in front. Radigalia held his ground. Farrell. Another player threatening to hit All-Australian level at some stage, maybe even this year. Hammered away from Richards who waited. Hinge, Wheaton got, gave it to Keys, shrugged it high. Umpire didn't pay the free. Jones then wrapped him. Sin bangs it. Burne-Jones attacked it. O'Brien stayed back and waited. Finlayson slid. Butters just as quick by hand to Burne-Jones, to Drew, toward Georgiades. Can't quite trap it. The Hornets got it. It's back. Pepper.
It's a clever kick. Very clever kick. He hasn't had a lot of the footy either. It's possession number 5 for Jason Horne-Francis.
The play-on's allowed. And Burton has kicked it. Phenomenal. Ryan Burton on the run.
Well, we know he can do that. The awareness he's highlighted, I imagine, every week in the build-up to a Port Adelaide game is don't let him run off half-back and get a shot at goal. But there's a fair bit happening there at some stage, and he just, in the end, he didn't know whether it was the right give. Horne-Francis is the one that's got to get involved. He's the one that's got to find some footy, and maybe he's not been in the middle as much with Bergman, but what about this give?
Ryan Burton, Father Craig was a star, 2-time Sandford Premiership player with North Adelaide. He comes from good footy stock, and his father grew up just liking Port Adelaide, obviously playing for North, and he went to a Port Adelaide Hall of Fame night with his son there as a Port player, and he asked Graham Corns, how do you do this? Go and enjoy Port Adelaide as a...
Well, he'll enjoy that.
He said, you just got to go with it. And it's a great career that his son's putting together right now. Dawson out of the middle. Phil Thorpe stands back, couldn't quite pounce, and Singh takes it through.
Very nervous moment there for Aaliyah. He lost contact with Phil Thorpe. He was relieved when it went through his fingertips.
Sin taking that kick in again. Not Connor Rosie to Burton. Back to Sin. Thinking about the switch, thinking about the corridor. Burton. He set that on through his head. Made it impossible. Nanko was trying to claim the mark. And is that... So the umpire cuts him some slack as well for not knowing it was a mark.
See them played more often than not, Dwayno.
It's almost as the umpire thought, oh, well, I made a mistake. They're not paying the mark, so I'll just ball it up now. Butters, that was slick. Got them out of their shoes. Could have picked that up. Burne-Jones thought about giving back to Bergman.
He turned that quickly, Zach Butters. A couple of Adelaide players just spun out, wondering what he was doing. Jordan Dawson fell over, and one of the others never got near him. They didn't know where he was going. He's that quick.
Here he is again. And the handball just as slick. Burgoyne's kick smothered. Lord attacks it, left it behind. Power Pepper hard at it. Michael Lanny stolen back. Burne-Jones short. Finlayson.
He's had some really good moments. Darcy Burne-Jones. Just a great intercept about a minute earlier, which led eventually to the Burton goal. Kept the ball in there. He had a nice tap on the middle of the ground. He's got really busy, and as Butters is starting to have an impact in the game. had barely touched it in the first 3 quarters of the opening term. He's now up to 11 touches, 4 score involvements. He's starting to get hot, Zach Butters.
Doesn't work back enough.
He's had some opportunities, Jeremy Finlayson. 1 goal, 2 now, but the 2 that he's missed have basically been from the same spot, directly in front.
Been a strange career as well. Again, he's been in and out the revolving selection door. Ex-Giant, of course, 66 games with the Giants as Mead is wrapped up and taken down. And did he have prior? No.
Coming from the middle.
Byzantini, O'Brien. Byzantini gets it back. Butters again. Slick-handed. Horn Francis on the back pedal. Play on. Mark won't be paid. Miller heard the call. Sam Pepper battles his way through a couple. Was that a legal handball? One umpire closest to play on. The other one a mile away said holding the ball.
And the one closest had the best view of whether he actually handballed the ball or not.
It did. Got to love the 4 umpires, Shelton. It's like us up here. You get 4 different opinions. Wide ball. Michael-Eddie. Plays on through half-back. Hits the half-forward. Fist of Burgoyne. Rosie with the poise. Burton, clever. Farrell had to go and fish it. Drew. Drop kicks it. Turns it over. Rankin.
Dangerous. They've done much better job in the last 15 minutes of holding Adelaide up, the Port Adelaide Footy Club.
I won't want to let Rankin get hot. Soligo. Oh, it's a beautiful kick until Horn Francis read his eyes. Jumped in front of Thilthorpe.
He read that beautifully, Horn Francis. Actually saved a goal. That would have hit Thilthorpe on the chest.
A smart player, Jace. Where's the ball been going inside forward 50? It's going through Riley Thilthorpe, and he anticipated it beautifully.
Sin pumps it to Darcy Byrne-Jones, who found some space. Laird called to clear out. Drew hammered on the kick. It's long. Finlayson thumps it forward. McEntee. Bergman. Goal line. They've got the numbers back there, Adelaide. Keane. Keys.
Just make the adjustment, though. The Port Adelaide Footy Club here just pushed across. The whole numbers filled up every hole.
Wide. Thilthorpe comes hard. Good hands.
They can't stop this bloke.
Oh,
He's just an unstoppable force. He bullocks his way to the front, and then you just can't get round him.
number 1 key forward in the comp, according to many metrics with champion data this year, Riley Thilthorpe. That's good through hands. Rosie read it. Little 1-2 it winds. Rosie floats it wide to Mead.
Yeah, so Rosie's doing what Thilthorpe's doing at various stages in different ways. He's mopped everything up in the back half, Connor Rosie. He's up to 18 possessions. He's had a really big impact on this game.
Ollie Wines, who had that heart rhythm issue again earlier this year, but is okay at the moment, which is great news toward Bergman.
Use him up. Use up Dawson's man.
Oh, Rambo just beyond the reach of others.
And again, you love the planning. He hasn't had as big a quarter, Miles Bergman, and Jordan Dawson hasn't been disgraced, but they're going to go through him at every opportunity.
Massive crowd in here at the Adelaide Oval for showdown 57. Soligo across half back. Nicely delivered to Nankervis. Taylor gets to Thilthorpe.
Right, smart.
Heads long, hoping for, but not finding Rochelle. Milburne's handball missed the target. Burgoyne, that's almost a throw. Got away with it, Byrne-Jones. Back to Burgoyne, hits the pause button to Richards. He hits the accelerator. Tried to hit McEntee, thumped out. Big 2 minutes coming up here to halftime. A tight contest from the outset. Bergman gets another chance. Back to Butters, who's starting to find it a bit. Farrell danced his way through him and launches long. Georgiades. Well played by Butts until he left it behind. Started down by Worrell. And that's a signature of his season so far. He has been brilliant.
That's what builds this back six and the togetherness, is Jordan Butts needs help and needs some support, and his mate comes in and just mops up for him.
Brian can't mark it, Saligo can't crumb it. Umpire circling for holding the ball.
Well, he was on the inside of that contest. The ball half popped out, and then the Crows knocked it back in.
Just kick it to Riley Thilthorpe, don't you?
Yes. And he's left it short. Saligo beaten by Burne-Jones, and instead of the Crows getting the last roll of the dice of the half, it's now an even contest on the wing.
And that's why, Dwayne, that's exactly why. And Darcy Burne-Jones has been at the forefront of it. They are starting to win the ball back in their half of the ground.
Back into play. O'Brien knocks it down. Bergman on hands and knees. Butters. Wines. Farrell. Rosie. Georgiades got up there. Left it behind. The circling Finn. Beware. The circling Finn. Finlayson wreaking havoc.
There's a talk.
A low barrel talk. That's a beautiful finish.
That's magnificent.
But you're right. It should have been the Crows going up the other end. They didn't take care of the footy, and they allowed Port another sniff just before half-time. And that's making the most of an opportunity. Had a bit of curl on it too.
That's unbelievable. They've hit the front now. Port Adelaide, what a fantastic performance. And yeah, just contest. You can't underrate what Mitch Georgiades did in that whole build-up to the goal. His ability to come out of the footy, contest it so aggressively, and then you get the front and square drop, and Finlayson there for the crumb and decides to kick a low barrel that gets the right bounce.
38 seconds left at half-time, and anything could happen in 38 seconds. And Port Adelaide in front right now. Holding free, advantage to Adelaide. Pedling hammers it. Walker can't quite pounce. Thilthorpe does. No pounce on him.
Rose has been huge, Dwayne.
He is holding fire in his hand, Connor Rosie. You just don't quite know how good he could be.
Well, his ability to mop up today, I mean, we know he can play a number of different roles, and we debated whether he's play halfback or midfield. Well,
he's playing too well to move him from halfback at the moment. And at times he'll come off the back and play like a fifth mid anyway.
Byzantini knocks it to the front. Dawson scrambles a kick. Still time enough here for the Texan to do something wild. Jumps back in, feeds it out.
Trip. Oh, the best shot here.
Isaac Rankin inside to Rochelle.
Now that's a clever advantage. You get angry sometimes when players take the advantage when a player could have a set shot. But he knew he had a target in the corridor, and it gives a much easier set shot for Josh Rochelle. So clever play from Rankin.
A little celebration, Grano.
I hope so.
He'll be measured, won't he?
He celebrated after his first goal.
This kick for the lead back. For the Crows to lead showdown 57 at half-time, and he's got it.
What a game. What a game. No team has had any superiority for longer than maybe 6 or 7 minutes, and then somehow the opposition worked their way back into it. Through front half pressure, I reckon, has been a really big part of it.
It is living up to the expectation. Let's head down to Sean Burgoyne.
Sam, a lot better first half this week than last week. You must be happy with it.
Yeah, definitely. We know it's going to be a tough contest from the start. It always is with showdowns. So I feel like it's been a real even half, and hopefully we can keep it going.
And there's plenty of niggle in and around the ball. Have you got a specific role in that?
Yeah, I always love getting in the little bit of a scrap and whatnot. It's part of the game, but it's always a bit more when it's a showdown. And as long as it's fair and hard, and that's really all that matters.
No worries. Good luck the second half.
Second half still to come, and you have the best seat in the house. Mark Rashido, before we take a break.
Keezy, just a typical showdown. It's tough out there.
It is, yeah, absolutely, really tough. Yeah, we knew what they were going to bring. They were going to be a contest, so it's hot out there. But yeah, big half footy coming up.
Riley Thilthorpe's giving him plenty of targets up forward.
Absolutely, as he has done all year. Just going to keep feeding it to the big fella, let him go to work.
All right, have a good half time.
Do not go anywhere. Showdown 57. It's 28 wins each. And a kick in it with a half to play. Here's to those who have.
All right, folks, it's half time. The commentators will be back for a bit of analysis. As we always say, tell you what, 5-point ball game. This is more like it. This is a cracking game. Port Adelaide putting on 4 goals 2. Hey, Adelaide put on 4 goals 4. It's not too bad, is it? 8 goals in this game. It's going to open up even more. We could have some high scoring. Some great play by both. Put Ken Hinkley to full forward. Maybe they did that. Emmanuel, maybe they did that. That's why Port kicked a few goals there. You never know. Harvey, how you going? Welcome in, Squire. Welcome in. Welcome in. Tell you what, you enjoying the game? You enjoying the derby? What is it? Clash 57? Oh, it's not 57. They say 28. 28. I think it was Derby 28. Oh my gosh. I don't think I was listening to when he said that. I think it's 28, something like that. 57. Oh, that's right. Yeah, 57. I thought so. I thought they said 28 each. I thought they said 28 each. 28 Port Adelaide, 28 Adelaide. My gosh, they're really going to have the bragging rights after this game. They can then certainly say, we got the best of the showdown. We've got it. So no. Hey, don't forget, folks, the other game that's happening right now around the grounds. We are 17 minutes into the third quarter up there in Darwin, where the Gold Coast Suns take on the Western Bulldogs. And it's the Gold Coast Suns, they're still in front. It's the Gold Coast, 10-9-69, leading the Western Bulldogs, 8-9-57. It's the Gold Coast Suns by 12, 17 minutes into the third term. Oh, what's going to happen over there? What's going to happen over there? I'll tell you what. Tell you what's going to happen here. We're just going to have a look at the goal scorers and the stats like we always do. For some people, they like to have multi-bets and see if their players get goals and how many possessions. Tell you what, Riley Thilthorpe and Joshua Shelley, they both got 2 goals for Adelaide. For Adelaide, 2 goals for them. Alex Neil-Bullen, Ben Keys, Darcy Fogarty. They got single goals for Adelaide. For Port Adelaide, though, we've got a couple with a couple. Hey, let go power. Good luck, good luck. It's a good, tight, close game. It's a cracking game. Mitch Georgiades, let me get that around the right way. Jeremy Finlayson, they both got 2 for Port. Sam Powell-Pepper, I like Sam Powell-Pepper. I think he's a great player. Tell you what, he's only had 3 disposals, 2 kicks and a handball and a mark. Kicked a goal, but I like the way this guy plays. He's good. There's just something about him that you like to see him when he gets around the ball. Absolutely. Who else is a goal scorer support? Well, Darcy Byrne-Jones has kicked one, and so has Ryan Burton. There you go, goal scorers. The AFL fantasy points, if you play that game, Thilthorpe and Peatling both on 71. Connor Rose 70. Disposal count. Connor Rose, the only one up there in the 20s so far up until half time. He's having a nice game for Port. 21, 17, 14 kicks, 7 handballs, 2 marks, 2 tackles and a clearance. James Peatling for Adelaide. He's going all right with 14, 7 tackles, 4 clearances. Also, Zach Butters next on the line with 13. We'll continue to have a look at the stats in just a moment. Let's just head back to the commentators. We'll give a little bit of analysis of the game. I bet Melbourne are glad they don't play in Darwin anymore. I'll tell you what, it'll be a long trip up there. I know from Melbourne it's probably about a 5-hour flight, so it's a fair way. It's a fair way up there. Of course, Port Adelaide, Western Bulldogs have just snared another sausage roll. So it's the Gold Coast Suns now 10-9-69, leading the Western Bulldogs 9-9-63. The Suns in front by 1 goal. The 20-minute mark of the third quarter. All right, let's get back down to the commentators for a moment.
Every year, it doesn't matter where they are on the ladder, and here we are, half-time, 5 points the margin.
Macca's halftime highlights, hard to go past Riley Thilthorpe. The man mountain, everything that comes near him is just getting swallowed in those big hands.
He's taken an equal high, career high, 9 marks, and it's half time. He's been superb. His ability to take front position is commendable. And then he holds that and doesn't allow anyone. We're talking to Aliir, one of the big key defenders of the competition, can't get around this man. So if he gets front spot, then you are gone for all money. His hands have been good. He's presented beautifully. He's taken 4 marks inside forward 50. 4 of them have been contested. And this is what they're going to have to do. In the end, Port Adelaide, they went to him again and again and again, the Crows, which you would. And it was up to Jason Horne-Francis, who said, no, not this time. Yep. And he was alert and was able to cut him off.
What about from a Port Adelaide perspective? We spoke pre-game. Where do you play the skipper, Connor Rosie? He's so good on ball, but his form since moving to half-back has been electric. That's where he's been tonight. 21 possessions in the first half.
I've got enormous respect for Alex Neil-Bullen, but this is a moment. Look at this. So this is all in the space of about 45 seconds. He goes to smother, gets a fingernail on that. A full-length smother. This is the ensuing kick-out. Misses the target to Lockie Jones and coughs up a goal. So you're thinking, oh no, the skipper's just gone. He's saved one, he's given one up. What's going to happen next? Ball goes back into the middle of the ground. The Adelaide Crows are reminding him, you've just given up. This is the very next play, if you don't mind. Magic from Butters gets the separation. Who comes flying through the middle? The captain, knocked off balance by Riley O'Brien. Does a pirouette and then drops it into a hole for the flying out Mitch Georgiades. He has been superb.
Exciting to watch. Pre-match move by Port Adelaide also was Miles Bergman into the middle to take care of Jordan Dawson, and that's worked in the first half. Kept Dawson to 8 possessions.
Yeah, it has. Dawson's working hard off the foot. He's had 7 tackles, Jordan Dawson, but Bergman has done a really good job. So, Mark Asciuto mentioned a couple of times they lose a little bit in the back half, and that's fair enough, but I reckon you take that right now. Jordan Dawson's been one of the dominant players in the competition. Bergman's got him where he wants him at the minute.
So much to play out in Showdown 57. And don't forget the big matchup coming tomorrow. A couple of recent number 1 draft picks going head-to-head when the Tigers play host to the West Coast Eagles.
All right, let's get back to some of those stats while they're on break again. Let's go. Sun says Harvey. You said you reckon the Suns. There we go. I've only got one of my selections going all right so far. Of course, that's Adelaide. I think I tipped Adelaide and the Bulldogs. Yeah. One's in front, one's behind. There we go. 10-11-71. Gold Coast Suns 9-9-63 to an 8-point margin up at that game. Let's get back and have a look at the stats here. All right. Miles Bergman there for Port Adelaide. He's up to 11. Ben Keys, 11, 6 kicks, 5 handballs. He's had 3 marks, a tackle, 1 goal, 1. Let me just roll down these so you can catch a glimpse. Joe Richards on 9 there for Port. Who else you want to have a look? Jace Burgoyne, he's on 9. He's only had the 5 kicks, 4 handballs. Not much, is it, up until half time? There's a few that haven't really touched it much. A little bit like Ollie Wins, just with the 8 touches. He's had a couple of clearances. Riley O'Brien for Adelaide. He's had 8 touches, 14 hit-outs, the big man. 5 kicks, 3 handballs, 3 marks, a couple of tackles. Where's he? Hang on, let me just search. We haven't come across the other big man for Port. Power. Not here. Darcy Byrne-Jones. I need to get him rocking and rolling in the second half. He's had 8 touches and just the 1 goal. Taylor the Tex Walker hasn't hit the scoreboard yet. Just the 1 behind. 7 touches. He's had 4 kicks. A couple of hit-outs, but no goals yet for the Tex. I'm sure he'll get on the board at some stage. Isaac Ranky, as we'll say in a quarter time, he needs to be playing a big game. Well, not so far for Isaac Ranky, just with the 6 touches, 3 and 3 clearances. Need him to lift for Adelaide. There we go. Georgiades, like we said before, he's kicked 2 goals, 6 possessions. He's had 4 kicks, but he's kicked 2 goals, 1. So when he gets it, he's dangerous. A little bit like Josh Shelley, 3 kicks, 2 handballs, but from his 3 kicks, 2 goals. Doing well. The big man for Port Adelaide, Dante Vicentini. He's had 4 touches, 1 kick, 3 handballs. He's had a mark, a tackle, 3 clearances with his 14 hit-outs, so doing all right. Hey, let's check out some of the team stats while we're rocking and rolling before the commentators come back. It's Port Adelaide by 20. Disposal count overall. Inside 50s, both teams are That's not really a high count for inside 50s for both teams, but 24-22, both having their chances. Well, I don't know. I thought Rankin was pretty good in big games. I thought he was pretty good. I remember him playing in the one of the finals against Collingwood, and he was really good. But luckily, he ran too far with the ball. 24-22, 24 inside 50 supports, 10 scoring shots. Adelaide, I tell you what, they look dangerous going inside, don't they? There's 22 inside 50s, 15 scoring shots. That's interesting. Free kicks, 10 apiece. That's all pretty tied up. Disposal efficiency, still not too bad. 74-70%, both teams. Efficiency inside 50 for both teams is reasonably good as well. Both above, well, at 50 and 68. So both hitting that line above, which is good. The hit out's pretty well tied up, 16-19. Nothing much in that as the clearances. Just +5 to Port, 20-15. 6-7, Port Adelaide +1. Centre clearances, stoppage clearances. Port Adelaide just on top there. Contested possessions, look, both teams are going hard. The Derby clash, 57. It's always a hard game, fought game. So it's going to be pretty tight in the numbers, scoreboard and everywhere else. On the board, 107.80, 27 plus uncontested. Turnovers, geez, the Adelaide team super low in the turnovers, 23. Port Adelaide under their average, 231. Both teams pretty good, reasonably clean. The marks, pretty tight, isn't it? 47-44. Marks inside 50, both teams having their chances as well. Adelaide just a little bit stronger in the air. And, of course, you would like to see this pressure build up, 23-36. Anyway, that's enough for me gibbering. Let's just head back to the commentators. Let's see what they have to say on the opening half.
9 goals, 7 from intercepts tonight, so certainly they're playing well. We know they play well up in Darwin, so they're starting to push away from the Bulldogs.
And Dog's still in it, though, and Luke Beveridge trying to spread that forward threat. So no Sam Darcy, it's Matt Kennedy who bobs up with 3 goals late and Vandermeer with 2 so far.
He could be the recruit of the season, I reckon, Matthew Kennedy, in terms of the impact he's had on the Bulldogs and their midfield, and obviously no Marcus Bontempelli early too. So, look, I think obviously tricky conditions up there in what is a pretty dewy conditions up in Darwin, but at the moment the Suns are just playing their brand of footy.
Libba's having some sort of day. His numbers
does all the time.
It was his handball game. Super strong, 9 clearances to this point, just short of three-quarter time. 14 points. It's a good lead up there just on three-quarter time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been sort of toe-to-toe at the moment. The scores sort of haven't blown out, but over the last little bit, the Suns have been able to get on top a little bit. The Bulldogs' pressure is the thing that is keeping them in it as well, at 1.83 at the moment.
And you've got some Bulldogs news to touch on in the Saturday night debrief, Jay, following the showdown?
Yeah, certainly do. Adam Treloar, Luke Beveridge future, and Cody Waitman as well. All updates on big names at the kennel.
Closer to a signature for Bevo?
Well, we might start talking about
bury the lead.
time frames.
Tease, yes. You're very keen on your teasers. All right, well, tune in for the Saturday night debrief for that update from Jay Clark. We are back to Adelaide Oval next. Give me a break, King Kong. We're back to Adelaide Oval next. This is Showdown 57 with the Crows leading Port by 5 points.
Whoa! Been doing it all day.
All right, folks, we'll be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere.
ones. And we've got a couple of great ones on the boundary, and Sean Burgoyne.
Shawnee moved quickly.
He used to move quicker than that. He used to move quicker than that, Shawnee.
It's the heat of the showdown action. Again, let's head downstairs.
Full of surprises, the showdowns, and we had to be on our toes at that one, Shawnee. What did you see in the first half, and what are you expecting in the second half?
Well, I reckon it's Jeremy Finlayson from Port Adelaide. He's been the real surprise packet coming back in. He's had the 8 disposals, 2 goals too. I reckon Adelaide would have planned for Georgiades, Pal Pepper, but I reckon he's just popped up.
Yeah, he has. He's been good. Same with, surprise for me, Isaac Rankin and the Adelaide midfield. Jordan Dawson, Jake Saligo only had 21 disposals between the three of them.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Jason Horne-Francis. So this is a man who can be devastating when he's on. Started in the goal square, just hasn't got hot at all. He's had a couple of flashy cameos, but this is the time for him to stand up in the second half. You suspect he's going to have to find plenty of footy and hit the scoreboard. The Port Adelaide Footy Club to get up over the top of the Crows.
Upside for both teams, but who's going to handle the pressure? We think it's going to continue. Can't see it breaking wide open.
Saw Matthew Nix on screen. He's looking for the win to celebrate his 50th birthday this week. And Hinkley looking for the win for Port Adelaide to hunt a spot in the top 8. Jordan Dawson gets a clearance to start the second half.
It's been a really interesting game. I wouldn't say it's overtly physical at this stage anyway. There's still plenty of time for that, given it's a 5-point margin, but it's been solid but not over the top.
Constantine O'Brien down to Wines, kicks it wide, race on. Miller, Sin, read that paddle nicely. Butters goes inside when most thought he was going outside. Wines almost caught. Burton with the knock on. Visentini wrapped up by O'Brien.
Got to maintain the space in front of Riley Thilthorpe, so players got to be disciplined. Fogarty's got to drag Radaglia away.
Toad off the deck. Peatling can't really call that a possession. Rosie off the deck. Playing in front was the right spot, but Power Pepper couldn't trap it. Worrell caught, but got a kick away. Walker, front spot. Radaglia with the big fist, and Sin left it behind. Keys rolled that home. Will it count? No, Port Adelaide free. Wow. So, Josh Sin. Man, taking pick 12, the same draft that Jason Horne-Francis was pick 1. It would have been a big lifter for the Crows had that been allowed. Port fans wouldn't have liked it. This is a Port home game. Little 1-2. Butters, Power Pepper, and they run it away. Chip kick is good. So Horne-Francis, again, starting out of the goal scorer as he did start the game. And Burn Jones, crowd wanted another 50. They don't get it this time. Worrell didn't overcommit to holding him up.
Oh, no.
Gee, that was lightning transition from half back for Port.
Yeah.
Couple of handball exchanges. Butters was explosive, and then you go and waste it. He's been so good, Burn Jones, with his touches. He's made them count right up until that one.
Hear the oohs and ahs. Miller sends it back out. Walker comes. O'Brien comes. Burton trying to thread the eye of the needle with the handball. Keys likewise. Kick spotted by Sin. Tough ball to win. They're all in there. Power Pepper. Butters. He floats it. Finlayson's got a couple of beat. Hits the deck from the scramble. Keane. Get a ball in.
Spoke about forward pressure a lot early on, particularly. Adelaide were outstanding, winning the ball back in their half and scoring on the back of it. Put Adelaide have ramped that up. Certainly in the second quarter of the way, led by Burn Jones. Kept the ball in their front half.
Power Pepper, Horne-Francis, all about to run through this. Wines got on the end of it. Rankin, fantastic smother. Got the ball back, but handball missed the target. Sin, little knock on. Back to Rankin under some heat. Ball back in Port Adelaide's possession. Sin got it to Worrell. They've travelled to required.
A lot of fumbling going on early in the third term. A few kicks off the ground. Is it getting dewier, Mark Michaud?
Oh, there's plenty of dew out there, that's for sure. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It was there before the game.
And maybe the occasion as well, and 54,000 here for this one. It might be a record crowd The record crowd here for a showdown, 53,698. And they are jammed in. Even the Mark Rasciuto stand, not a spare seat in it. The Crows fans have turned out for this one as well, which is great to see. And the ball in. Butters working hard. Sin having a good night at the office. He mongrels that to the Hornet. Off hands. Nankervis. Got it away to Worrell. He made it tough, but Worrell, dexterous, magnificent. Tough one to be 1-0. Bullen had 2 against him and out of play as a win. First showdown for Alex Neil Bullen, but been part of many big moments before. This crowd won't faze him. Game 185 for the former Melbourne star. Back into play. O'Brien knocked it past a couple again. Butters goes hard. Took a little bit of Taylor's ear on the way through. Horn Francis tried a slick handoff. Farrell.
I think Taylor may have relieved Alex Neil Bullen of the unenviable task of trying to quieten down Connor Rosey.
Through that traffic, winds. Outside of the boot to a 2-on-2. Michael couldn't trap it. Finlayson's had a good night. Richards, not quite. Free kick's been found. Reported for kicking. Wow. Reported for kicking. So Keane. Finlayson held up. Okay.
We'll have to have a look at that. Having been involved with an international rules series, what can go on with the Irish boys?
He was pushing him away with his feet while he was on the ground.
Bergman slips in. So it's been a good battle. Bergman and Jordan Dawson. If you joined us late, it's a surprise move by Ken Hinckley to put Miles Bergman on the #1 player in the comp, according to the coaches' votes, Jordan Dawson, from the start of this game.
And this is the next part of that challenge, is that they've used him a lot on the way through. Now if he can hurt him on the scoreboard.
It'll take his best. He thumps it. Looks pretty good. Offline.
I didn't see that Mark Keane one, Jay, so has he got...
He was lying on the ground and Finlayson was above him. It was Keane, yep. So you'll see him lying on the ground, Finlayson above him, and he's just lashing out to push him away. It was sloppy, to say the least.
Didn't cost them anything bar a behind. So the Crows dodge a bullet there with that. Vancouver's caught, got it to Peatling, hands it back to O'Brien. The big guy did pretty well there. He didn't pick it up and he was tackled. Byzantini, Mead, took the heat. Burton, Jones. Ball was it wide, cut off by Worrell. Little juggle.
The pressure's gone up again, Dwayne, I reckon.
Yeah.
So forward pressure we talked about, now Adelaide is starting to step it up. So we're not seeing the transition, you're not seeing the beautiful footy, but you're seeing the contest.
Here comes Thilthorpe. Through his hands this time, and he's been marking everything. Jones played for a free. Rosie plays for the Sharon or the boundary. And it finds its way out. Umpire says insufficient intent.
Wow. Against Connor Rosie, just backhanded it across the line.
It was there.
We've been stricter on that than ever this season. Heatling hammers it. Aaliyah. Saligo can't collect it, dives back in. Burton through Radagalia's legs. Saligo, he might make them play. Big Riley, the big O! He wore Sam Powell-Pepper's shoulder. Miller, Nankervis spins, kicks. Radagalia had time to wipe his hands on his shorts before he marked it as it was travelling through the air to Wines, not the required. Jones, little sidestep, kicks on the back pedal. Visantini, boy, makes it his moment. You can't play off from a mark, can you? Wow, Finlayson. So he must not have paid the mark.
They paid advantage, I think I heard him say.
You can't pay advantage from a mark.
But he took a mark, so you have to pay the mark, not the free kick, don't you?
That's exactly what he said, was advantage.
Free kick Crows.
You're getting a little bit touchy here at the minute. Just got to let him go a bit.
Hinge. Treating like naughty boys out there at the moment. Keane.
It's an arm wrestle, Dwayne.
Rosie, back, beautiful. Oh, gee, Rankin was in close, too close. Free kick and 50.
Well, there was a strange kick from Mark Keane deep in defence. Sometimes certain players just bat a little bit above their ability when they want to make those decisive kicks around the ground.
Between the flags.
He tried to pinpoint something in the middle of the ground, was intercepted by Rosie, and now it's a certain goal. Play the percentages.
He's been a showdown medalist before, Connor Rosie. He's been awesome off half-back. And he's used the power, believer.
He's been superb, the captain. Zach Butters has had the 7 possessions in this quarter as well, so he's stepping up as well. Now, this is the mark play on that had us confused a little bit earlier, only a minute or so ago. So the mark is paid to Vincent. He
took a clean mark, but he's paid the free kick for high contact, I guess. I'm assuming, but I would have thought you'd pay the mark, not the free kick.
Yeah, well, I think that's how it'll be explained. But this is the kick you're talking about from Mark Keane. Oh. So he's trying to lob it over the head of Connor Rosie to Taylor in the middle of the ground. So and this is the Isaac Rankin 50-metre penalty he was anticipating the play on. So I think it's got to regain composure now. There's been some free kicks that have gone against both sides, and the pressure's at its peak, Dwayno.
Yeah, the birthday boy, Matthew Nix, had to look away for a second from the ruck contest. Finlayson, been a good inclusion on Francis. Back to Butters. His feet were going too quick for him. Headling, his feet were going too slow for him. Rosie was brilliant again.
He's playing one out of the box here, Connor Rosie.
And he launches. Who's he got? Lord was half held. Sam Powell. Pepper goes Powell.
Now you want to talk about your classic front and square crunning goals. That is one right there. Sam Powell Pepper hits it at speed, reads it beautifully, takes the ball cleanly, and then the gun snap, and that's brought the crowd to life big time. Back-to-back goals, they open up a little bit of break. Now the pressure switches back to Adelaide. The Rosie doing exceptional work. The balls, look at that. Hits it at pace.
They're making their move, Port Adelaide. They've kicked 4 of the last 5 goals. The only 2 in this third quarter. They've been brilliantly led from the back half by their captain, Connor Rosie. Their midfield star, Zach Butters, has got hot. And all of a sudden, the Adelaide Crows are on the back foot. They've got to find something. Connor Rosie, 6 score involvements off the half-back flank. He's whacked it inside 55 times. He's been brilliant.
And this is Port Adelaide's biggest lead of the game. The Crows did break out to a 2-goal lead earlier. Peedling, caught by Butters. Not me, mate. You're not getting past me.
He tried to step inside and break the tackle. Should have been rewarded, I think.
Wow. Butters gets it anyway. Feeds it out. Horn Francis. The usual suspect starting to have an impact now. Lord caught. But a handball away just in time.
Port Adelaide are winning the hard ball. They're plus 10 in this third quarter. They've had more disposals, more inside 50s, more clearances. They are on fire at the moment, Port, here in the third quarter.
Finlayson palms it down. Richards couldn't quite find his foot. Burton about to send it back. Told to go, goes to Burton. Heads to the pocket. Free man. Jason Horn Francis.
Well, they're at 6s and 7s at the moment, the Adelaide Crows, and we might see him play on here very quickly.
I'd love to see the replay of that, guys. There was plenty of bodies falling to the ground behind the play. I'm not sure what blocks were going on, but there was bodies everywhere on the ground.
Just another Burgoyne starring, Sean, that's what happened. And now Jason Horn-Francis, fan favourite.
Yes, expecting to kick that on the natural side for right footer. But for Port Adelaide, guys, it's turned into the Rosie and Butter show, and that is the worst possible thing that could happen for Adelaide.
You asked Matthew Nix what happens if he gets off the chain, and he said, well, we got plan B. Do they have to go to it?
Oh, absolutely they do.
Long thump. O'Brien, Finlayson. Finlayson wins with a fist. Neil Borland scrambles it back to the wing, and here's Rosie again. Weaves his way past a couple. Got the kick away. Hinge. Content to see out. Got a little nudge. So fans want insufficient intent.
So just to be clear, Zach Taylor is the player that has got responsibility for Connor Rozee. That's asking a lot for a young man. As far as Zach Butters goes, it is game on through the middle.
Yeah, he's on his own at the moment.
Dawson's trying to get to him on a 2-on-1.
But he's got Bergman in his lap.
Farrell. Advantage played. Dawson gets a moment. He heads out wide. Well, he doesn't head wide enough. He had Rochelle out wide, but he missed him completely.
Pressure through the middle of the ground. It's been how Port Adelaide got back into this in a big way.
And the big problem for Adelaide, and Roo mentioned it coming back from half-time, their midfield's not engaging. Rankin, Saligo, Dawson are not getting it done at the moment.
Sets it up. Horn Francis might fly here. He doesn't. He stayed down for a crumb. And Curvis back. Rankin, dangerous inside kick. Burgoyne hunted down. Sam Powell-Pepper to get another moment. He tried to kick it through Worrell's legs. Pretty hard to do that.
Did he not see Worrell standing there?
I'm not sure. Horn Francis knew what he wanted to do. Goes back in hard, head first.
Well, we called for him to lift, and he has. Isaac Rankin is the one. This is the man that has got the magic touch, but he just can't get it. He's had 8 touches and no impact.
Holding Adelaide.
Visentini gives the free kick away to O'Brien. Here's Rankin on the cue. Radagalier backs back. Radagalier.
So now they've got it on their terms going forward. They've got a 2-on-1.
Dangerous kick. Bit off more than he could shoot. Coming. Saligo. Curvis. Held his spot in the team.
They've had winners ahead of the footy in the first half. They've just got to go.
So Rankin from 50. Leaving free at your peril. Thilthorpe. His hands are like a vice.
And that's the best kick he's had tonight. Isaac Rankin. He wasn't having a shot to goal. He saw one out. Riley Thilthorpe. And you back that man in any time. Just too strong for Burton. Too big, too strong.
But they had this dominance in the first quarter of the contested marking inside their forward 50, yet they've been hesitant to go there.
Breaks a run of 4. Port Adelaide scores in a row. And settles things down for the Crows.
So it's a message, it's like a reminder, Jace, if you like. It's, hey, yeah, we got winners ahead of the ball here. Let's get some speed on the footy, take a risk, move the ball and belt it in.
Winner's a winner. Who else is winning apart from Thilthorpe ahead of the footy? One of the issues, I think.
That's okay, as long as they don't have to be winning the ball as such, as long as they're engaging. So there's Curtin.
Yeah.
There's Curtin engaging Aaliyah. That's enough. So he engages Aaliyah, he gets the one-on-one with Burton. So as long as, Fogarty and Walker, they might not be having big nights, but as long as they occupy their opponent, this bloke he's taken 10 marks already.
He can win it off his own bat if they can get enough quality ball to him one-on-one, but the others have to contribute by playing their role.
He's in the ruck now.
So Visentini against Thilthorpe instead of Finlayson. Butters got it from Horn Francis to Burgoyne. Floats it wide. Burn-Jones just off the bench. Mead got there. Not Whitten. Tackle well.
Jordan Dawson hobbling just off the ball here. He's got something wrong with the left knee.
Yeah, and I'm wondering whether he's going to Butters to try and just switch that up a little bit and give Bergman something to think about.
Outside of the boot kick, the chaos ball. Inside 50. Worrell. Oh, he was content to get a kick away, but he puts it straight back to Jason Horn-Francis' wheelhouse. True. Floats in, ball in.
It's one of the toughest things as a midfielder. When you're getting tagged and you get told, well, you go to someone else. All right, so that's what Dawson's doing, but you're 2-on-1 the whole time. It is a real thankless role, but you've got to stick at it. And then the player, the other Crows player, whoever's loose, whoever that is, will identify. They're the ones that got to get busy to drag the Port player onto them.
Yeah, at the moment, Saligo at that stoppage went to Butters.
Darcy Burn-Jones plays on. And kicks across the face.
It's not just a question of do you want to tag, as it who's capable of tagging Butters?
Yeah, well, probably no one. Let's be honest. And Matthew Nick said he concedes he's going to get 25. Well, he's got 23 already.
Hinge long. Walker, who hasn't seen much of it yet. sees it here. Gets a kick away, but straight to Jones. Wobbles one. Through hands, Curtin. Back to Tex. Couple of possessions. He floats it wide. Radically got a fist on it, then nearly marked it. Jones got there. Arms free. Did well. Under some heat. Little fumble. Burgoyne spins out of a jam brilliantly. Tex didn't beeline him. Wines. Jones. Can Dawson get there? He does.
There was your answer too, Jay. So Thilthorpe's gone into the ruck and they don't look anywhere near as capable ahead of the footy when he's not there.
Visentini playing pretty well in game 7. Sweet was dropped. They brought in Visentini. Big move by Ken Hinckley, and that's 50 maybe.
Oh, it's line ball. Line ball.
It's a few living on the edge at the moment, and that's Sam Berry who's on. So they brought in their sub, the Crows.
And he might be the sub to go to Butters.
Yeah. So they brought the sub on and it might work. Peatling wobbles it. The Fog needs to lift. And he does here to Keys. Got it!
It's a great kick from Fogarty. He turned and he saw the space. He knew that Keys was the deepest player. He just had to keep it to the open side of the corridor and he was able to do that. Now a massive kick for Ben Keys. So that's interesting, activating the sub. That's break glass in case of emergency. Come on and run with Zach Butters.
Yeah.
Kicked 2 goals too last week, Ben Keys.
He has gone back.
14-5 for the season.
He's gone back like Michael Holding.
Yeah.
It's the longest run I've seen.
Well, that's your style. Kicked 14-5 for the year to make it 15-5 and give the Crows back the lead.
I want to wind it right back to centre wing here, and this is what Adelaide haven't had for the last quarter. It's on centre wing, there's a ball bubbling around, it's a contested footy, and all of a sudden Alex Neil-Bullen he splits this up with a hand. That hand there separates the whole thing because there's congested play around the ball. He gets it forward into some space, and then all of a sudden Keys is able to make some room inside 50. They just haven't had much flow, and that is credit to the Port Adelaide Footy Club. They've had great pressure. 2 in a row. 2 in a row. They were looking at 5 of 7 when there was a bad miss from Port Adelaide, Dwayne. Been able to hit back. So Curtin's a man that's made way for Berry. And Chief, you're saying Berry's gone to Butters?
Well, he went to him when he first came on. He's in the centre square here next to Horn Francis.
Yeah, he's not a tagger. He played well last week coming on just to try and give some centre square impact.
Yeah, sub last week came on, and here he is sub this week as well doing the job. Got the clearance. Great attack. Good mark for Leah.
I don't think Adelaide can win the game unless their midfield get back on top, so Berry might be a big part of that.
Sam Berry only 4 games in 2023, but 2024, his 4th year on the list, was his best year. 18 games last year. Been in and out. Jones wobbles it. The chaos ball again. Lord. Little tricklet from the boot of Rochelle. They've lifted Adelaide. Keys drops into a high one.
Well, maintain while the sun shines, Dwayne. No Rosie, no Butters at the moment. Both having a spell on the bench.
Walker. Pumps it wide. Neil-Bullen. Erdman got a hand on it. And content to take it out.
And no Thilthorpe. So the 3 most damaging players on the ground right now are just taking a breather. And Georgiades.
Yeah. Ken Hinckley on the bench as well. Longest serving current coach without a grand final to his name. 13th and final season at the helm for Ken Hinckley. It's a big game for Port Adelaide. They're outside the 8 right now. Michael floats in. Laird got the crumb. Beetling slick. O'Brien. Laird caught by Drew. Dropped. Neil-Bullen tried the handball through that eye of the needle again. Laird out wide. Keys having an impact. A floater. Jones got there. Won it with a fist. And Francis meeting the sandwich.
Only had 80 handballs for the game. Adelaide Crows. So maybe they're just going to start sharing a bit, Jace. Try and get some run involved here.
Winds. Wins into the congestion. Rolls it. Lord, good pick up on the run. Handball's in the middle and Curvis just went and gave to Laird. This looks solid for Adelaide. Fogarty! Got it!
Well, they've marked it every time inside 50 they found a mismatch. They're very good at identifying when it's a key player on a non-key defender. And that time it was Fogarty on Farrell. And he just didn't have the strength against the big man. It was push and shove. And the big man wins.
This ebb and flow we've talked about all night. It's come back Adelaide's way. So, at the back end of that second quarter, Port Adelaide, they came out of the blocks, kicked the first two. This is for 3 in a row.
Port Adelaide had the Crows on the ropes. Crows have responded with 3 big punches in a row.
Beautiful kick. A beautiful kick. Just been impressed that when they've managed to find that mismatch, they've had the ball in hand and gone straight there. We've seen it 2 or 3 times tonight. It's resulted in a contested mark and more often a goal than not.
They've taken 8 contested marks in their forward 50, 8-1. So you're right. They've got a big presence up there. Thilthorpe's been a massive part of it. Now it's just getting them supply.
And this is what happens with zone defences that press up and back. You have to take the nearest player to you, and often that's a key forward. And someone like Farrell's never going to win a strength battle against Darcy Fogarty.
So Rankin's just ramped the pressure up and gone to the goal square here. So 3 in a row to the Crows. This is their time.
Jones is full back on him. Huge task on Isaac Rankin. Huge task for Vizentini here against O'Brien. Drew, slick, Butters on the move, puts the foot down, sends it long. Finlayson with the fist, huge crumb to win. Miller happy with the ball up.
So 3 goals in a row. Butters and Rosie sat for 2 of them, I reckon. They're back out on the ground now. Well, Butters is, Rosie still sits.
Peatling goes to him.
Butters with Peatling riding him. On pilots at roll. And rolls out.
Challenge back at the Port Adelaide Footy Club now with Kenny Hinkley and his skipper about to come back on. Been outstanding. Got to get some ascendancy back. It's swung back towards the Crows.
There's Superman. Off the bench, out of the phone box, and back out there. Here's the other one, Butters. Juan Francis can't quite trap it. Hasn't quite been his night. Port Adelaide won 3 games in a row last month. Got smashed last week by the Western Bulldogs. There's a lot on this for them. They're outside the 8. A bit of Frank Sinatra flying high in April. Don't want to be shot down in May. Drew can't pounce. Butters does. Feeds it up. Saligo outside of the boot. Burgoyne floats in. They all float in. Radaglia. Burn-Jones from the scramble. Drew had the handball target out wide. Hammers it to Finlayson, who fights to fight against 3. Crows have got men back. Horn Francis steals it. It's Horn Francis time. Can you believe that?
Well, these are the moments you look for in the big games. It's been a quiet night for Jason Horne-Francis. Hasn't been able to load up with a heap of possessions. He's worked his way up to 14 now. Well, that's number 15 as he kicks a goal. But all of a sudden, that is a quality finish. And the Crows will be filthy with themselves. They had 3 players around the ball. Couldn't mop it up. It's a great finish.
That's what he can do. It is what he can do, and we're going to use him from this point forward. You've got the midfield. He's come back in a centre bounce at the moment. You've got a midfield that's humming with Zach Butters. I suppose you've got to try and share the load a little bit. They had a really quiet first half, but That's the ability that he has got. And you're right, it was Peatling, I think, who might have knocked one of the Adelaide Crow boys over.
What was that celebration? Was he turning his head on or turning his brain on? I don't know what it was. It was a new one.
He's a fantastic player to watch. Vicentini attacks it. Cumming was with him. Richards nearly. Miller kept his head down. O'Brien got it out to Keys. And Curvis. Radaglia right with Tex. Big round of applause for Asava Radaglia. 75 games in 5 years at the Cats. Game 105 for Asava. And there is Ken Hinkley. 13th and final season as Port coach before Josh Carr takes over. Matthew Nix. 6th season as coach for Matthew Nix. Yet to coach the Crows into the finals. Farrell bangs a torp. It's long and it's Lairds.
Well, he hit the torp too well, unfortunately, because Laird was sweeping out the back and it carried all the way. Gee, they're open here. There's plenty of space going forward now.
Headland to Keys. One-on-one's ahead, though. A few runners. He kicks it to the Walker one-on-one. In fact, Aaliyah gets there with Thilthorpe to make it a 2-on-2. Hits the deck. Thilthorpe against the grain. Couldn't collect it. Drew does. Butters wreaking havoc. The 1-2 didn't quite work. Walker went to the ground. Then he kicked it out. He top-packed that out.
Should have been pinged for that.
Well done to Aaliyah, though. Thilthorpe come charging out of that goal square as he did in the first half, but Aaliyah was with him step for step. Didn't trail in for the first time for a while.
To the crowd, Walter.
Yeah, he got away with one, Tex.
All 54,000 of them here. This could be a record crowd. Close to the boundary and it rolls out. A few boos still ring around the record crowd here all time. As I mentioned earlier, 62,543, which was a Port Adelaide game. The grand final at Sandford in 65, Port v Sturt. Although I suppose I need to mention Adele, she had 60,000 here as well. From the ball in. Hands and knees, Richards. Headling right with him, umpire. Lets it go, winds, through, winds. High to a 2-on-2. Lord gets there. And then put it to grass. Berry, the sub. The old 1-2, he's fresh. Walker.
Worrell or Michael, I can't quite tell the minute, was in on his own.
There was 20 seconds left on the clock and he turned to the bench because he knew it was late.
Yeah.
So he said, should I stop and have the shot? But he did have an option, the chip inside 50.
Yeah.
He needs to make the distance now. I don't know if he's got the leg.
Oh, this is huge. So he can't run around, the siren will sound. Well, he does run around. So is that play on? It doesn't count. It wouldn't have counted if it had travelled through. He ran around.
Disaster, all-round disaster. It was in the end.
But it's perfectly poised right now. You have the best seat in the house, and it comes down to this. Showdown 57 is 28 wins each, and it's a 2-point game with a quarter to play. Do not go anywhere.
All right, 3/4 time. Hey, we are in for a cracking last quarter. 10-8-68 the Crows. 10-6-66 Port Adelaide Power. Who's going to win it? I don't know. This is anyone's game. This is just a ring-a-ding-ding game. Wow, I tell you what, the folks in the chat, 56% saying Port Adelaide's going to get up. They say they're going to be the team that takes this out. I don't know. It's just too hard to choose. And you're saying Butters might be going next year. Tell you what, he'd be good at the Pies, but I don't know whether the Pies could afford him in the salary cap. I'm sure they probably couldn't. They've got to pay a bit for Maynard and all them to keep. So, yeah, I'm glad I chose this game too. The other game, well, I tell you what, it's not quite over. It's 24 and a half minutes gone in the other game. Gold Coast Suns 14-15-99, leading the Bulldogs 12-12-84. 15 points the difference. I think the Suns should hang on. There's probably, well, it might be about 4 minutes to go, 5 minutes to go in the other game. It's going to be close, so no matter where they go, But this game is an absolute. We've got the match. Adelaide is so unpredictable. I tell you what, Adelaide and Port Adelaide, both Adelaide teams, you're right, they are both unpredictable. Adelaide's been playing, probably had the better consistent form throughout the season so far. Port Adelaide up and down. But, sometimes you can just throw all the form out the window, where they sit on the ladder. When it's a match like this, the big derby, I tell you what, there's a little bit extra the players find, I think, to get out and play a super game like this. It's a bit like it's like Anzac Day game, big games like that. The teams just seem to rise to the occasion and play good. This is an absolute cracker. Who's going to have bragging rights? I've got no idea who's going to have bragging rights after this game. Actually, let me have a little bit of a look. Where are they sitting on the ladder? Adelaide and Port Adelaide. Where are they? Adelaide Crows, that's right. They're 5th on the ladder. Port Adelaide, 13th. Port Adelaide win this. They'll definitely jump up. They'll jump up into 9th spot. I don't think 3%. They're not going to make 3% in this game. Unless they win by probably 5 goals. So I think they'll probably jump up to 9th spot if they win. But if Adelaide Crows win, they'll jump. Well, I think they might actually stay the same because it looks like the Gold Coast Suns are going to lead. That's the live ladder as it sits at the moment. That is the live ladder at the moment with the Suns predicting to win, Adelaide predicting to win. That is the live ladder there, folks. It'd be interesting to see if it stays that way. And, of course, the ladder will change tomorrow because, unfortunately, Brisbane play North Melbourne. We'll be going for North Melbourne in that game. That's strange, I know, but if there's a game I want North Melbourne to win, that's tomorrow, so the Pies stay on top. Anyway, there it is. We're a minute and 3/4 away from the final quarter here. It's going to be a cracker. Hey, let's just have a look at the... Any different goal scorers? Riley Thilthorpe leads with 3, Rochelle 2, Sam Palpepper 2, Ben Keys 2, Georgiades 2, and Darcy Fogarty 2, along with Jeremy Finn Layson. Disposal getters, just the leading ones up until 3/4 time. Zach Butters, I'll tell you what, he'll be a big loss if he goes. 27, he's a star. Connor Rose, 26. They're the top 2 for Port Adelaide and, of course, for Adelaide Crows. James Peatling, 21 possessions. Josh Worrell on 19. There are your leading possession getters. We'll have a little bit more of a look at that later on. All right, folks. Hey, that's enough of me. We are in. Go Roos. That's it. Go Roos. We're in for a ring-a-ding-ding cracking last quarter. Let's get back down to the commentators. Oh, my gosh. Who's going to win? Don't forget to vote. Don't forget to vote. Who you think's going to win the game?
What do you think's going to happen?
Well, I think this game could be won on moments. Which player's going to take their moment? I think it's going to come down to maybe 2 players. For Adelaide Crows, Riley Thilthorpe, been best on ground so far for them. 3 goals, 10 marks. Of those, 5 contested. He's been an absolute beast when the ball's come inside 50. And for Port Adelaide, can it be Jason Horne-Francis? In that 3rd quarter, had the 8 disposals, kicked the miraculous goal. Another point. Can he make a moment and cover himself with glory?
All right, anything could happen. Oh, looking forward to this one. Who's going to win the game for their team? Riley Thilthorpe, Jason Horne-Francis, 2 of them. I'd be keeping a real close eye on Zach Butters if I'm Adelaide. This man had 5 possessions in the first quarter, well held. He built the 9 in the second. He had 13 in the third. He's got 7 clearances next to his name. He's on track the way he's building for a 15 possession plus a goal or 2 in the last term and might just get his team over the line.
He's been magnificent, so this man's got to match him. He's the fire starter for the Adelaide Crows. He's the Butters in the red, yellow and blue jumper Isaac ranking. Can he just tear one on in this last quarter? Duano, it is perfectly poised. 2 points to margin.
So it comes down to this. 1 quarter of football to win showdown 57 and take the lead in the head-to-head and own the town. There's tumbleweeds blowing down Rundle Mall at the moment. Every eye on this one. O'Brien squeezed it forward. Giants playing in front, wrapped up by Walker.
So a great early win for Adelaide. That was it was Berry that started on Butters at that centre square, and he was the one that got the clearance.
Down to Butters. Rosie towed it off the deck. Good pick up by Powell Pepper, but caught immediately.
Pepper had some moments as well in that 3rd quarter, so Hinge got a big job on Pal Pepper. Excitement, likes to get the team fired up.
Berry through the traffic, the sub. Port Adelaide still have their sub to use. Towed off the deck by Me. Got it into the middle. There is the sub. So Moraes has been subbed out there. He's now on. Jumps in. Holds it in there for a split second. And we'll get a ball up.
McEntie's the one that's come off, so Moraes comes in. Berry's had an impact. He's got some energy. He's up to 6 touches already.
First showdown for Christian Moraes, just game 7. Huge moment for him, biggest moment of his career. The two Port Adelaide players looked at each other. Jones, Winton got it in the end, they left it behind. Mead picks it up. St. Poise pokes it wide. Butters his target. Oh, he goes and gets, and they get him. Worrell, Butters bounced up like a rubber ball. Coming, and it's out of play. Butters is down, and he gets a little help from Worrell to get up.
Tough. He
got crunched in all of that. Is he coming off? I think he is. Let's hope he's okay.
He's hurt. And they're saying something.
Big win that Saligo, but he didn't quite hit the kick as he wanted to. Winds. And how's that? It's on the full.
So they got slaughtered at clearance in that third quarter, did the Adelaide Crows. So if they're going to hang on, they've got to be much more competitive in that area.
Wines told to play on because he came around a bit.
As soon as you step in field from an out-of-bounds free kick, it's play on.
Saligo spears it to Walker. Used his body well. It might be Tex time. He heads long.
Poor boy.
Trigger just a touch early.
He had a bit of time to let it unfold and see what Phil thought was going to do.
Phil Thorpe had played it beautifully, Jace. He just pushed off, and as he turned, Tex had already kicked it. That was one that just went begging.
One of the great showdown players he's been, Taylor Walker, joint holder of the records for the most goals in a showdown. He, Modra, Vardy and Treadray, all with 7 goals in a showdown, the most by any player. All thumped out of play. Tex, of course, most goals all time by any Crow.
So Michael Landy's got the job on Horn Francis, who's the deepest forward right now. He and Georgiades, the 2 deepest.
And you could hear a pin drop here, despite the fact there's over 50,000 in the house.
Looking at the other end, and it's Rankin sort of the deepest forward. I much prefer Phil Thorpe in the marking form that he's in as the deeper. Besides that, Rankin has won the right to better have some space.
Rosie pursues it. They pursue him. He kept it alive. No, he didn't.
Oh, I thought he got that round.
It's one of those that if Port do win this game as a contender for the showdown medal. Rosie, he has won one before. The captain has been brilliant. So too has a couple of others, including Riley Thilthorpe, who's threatened to be the difference maker in this as the ball is again taken out.
Riley! Back there, here guys. Hit the meter.
5 changes at selection for Port Adelaide. Dante Vicentini, McEntee, Moraes, Burton. All Francis keeps that in. Rolls it. Hinge, the only change for the Crows. Back in after suspension. He found Saligo, who found some space and finds Tex Walker. Turns and goes. Blasted long. Thilthorpe turns around. Jones almost overcommitted, missed the ball. Burton crumbs it. The Farrell players down behind play. Wide ball. Georgiades in Butts. Butts did brilliantly. Handed it inside. Keane. Laird. Pumps it. Thilthorpe. He's got 2 to beat. Rankin. Thilthorpe. Fogarty with some space and made them pay.
So to go to school on this, the entry before that, Thilthorpe wasn't the primary target. It was Rankin. I mentioned that he was the deeper forward. So then the ball comes back in and there's a readjustment. Thilthorpe has to be the primary target when they go forward and allow Rankin to do his work at ground level. So there's been adjustment. There's Thilthorpe. He draws the ball this time. Not Rankin as the target. Rankin is the magic man on the bottom there. Gets the handball back to Thilthorpe and then the goal.
Let's have a look at the Bunnings build up to that.
It's a lesson too. Lockie Jones is Rankin's opponent. He goes to fly because he knows how much pressure they're under with Thilthorpe in the air, and that allows Rankin to get involved with the scrum. It ends up with Foggy. It's a good snap.
Boys, and Zach Butters is all good now. He's had a calf rub, but doesn't seem to have any body issues at the moment. Just sitting on the bench ready to come back on.
The good news for Port.
Richards comes hard. Port need a hero in a hurry. Darcy Byrne-Jones turns, goes, chips, winds. His kick is beyond him from here. Byrne was there for the handoff. He didn't go. And is that required? It wasn't the required distance. Rosie. Taylor wrapped him. Inside 50. Neil Pullen. Back to Rosie. That was a weird bit of play, that. Finlayson lurking. Ball eluded Moraes.
It was a tough judge. You be the judge at home here. Did this go the 15 metres from the kick to where he marks it?
You got to pay that.
You
got to pay that.
You're paying that great loss.
So do you want chip in the ball technology to actually pay that, or are you happy for umpire error to be part of our game still? Finlayson and O'Brien back at it from the scramble. Heatling in his first showdown, couldn't get it away. Byrne-Jones butts. Holds it up. But that's 15. Miller.
That is unbelievable. That went 7.
Michael Annie. And before the showdown, there was Port Nord, and Michael Annie's father, one of the all-time greats for Nord, 4-time premiership player. O'Brien lurking. Had some freedom. Go to Isaac Rankin. It is Isaac time. They've blown this margin out, and it's danger time for Port.
What I loved in the build-up was the work from Riley Thilthorpe. You won't see him, but he holds his man off because he knows that Riley O'Brien is pushed deep forward and he's the long target up the wing. So as they head towards half-forward, you'll see the long ball come in. They will look for Riley O'Brien. You can see him top of screen running. Thilthorpe's there as well, but he just pushes his man out of the way, holds him off, and then once he's taken the mark, he's off in case he can be used forward, but they don't need him. It's finished by Rankin. Brilliant.
And Darcy Jones goes the wrong side. He turns the wrong way. Goes boundary side. Rankin comes inside. Hey, it's not done by any stretch of imagination. This game has ebbed and flowed all night. Right now, it's a little Adelaide ascendancy. If it goes to the way it has been, Port hit back.
Adelaide's biggest lead of the game right now. Good time to have it. Dawson, the captain, fantastic. Goes long to the fog. Not quite. Wow!
There it is.
Back to the Rankin file.
There was a little bit of a, can you believe that celebration too, with the hand on the head.
You're looking for some magic in the last quarter. He'd had a really quiet 3 quarters, Isaac Rankin. He'd been up through the middle of the ground. That tap from Riley O'Brien will go down as one of the... We should have a ruck tap of the year because that's as good as it gets. Fogarty drops the chest mark, and then the magic man says, hey, you can have your Rosie and you can have your Butters. When it's on the line, I'm going to step up and just provide something special at the showdown. That doesn't happen unless Riley O'Brien gets the work done. So Matthew Nix is loving it. But that tap, that
There's the celebration. Oh my goodness. Did that just happen?
There we go again. In the middle.
Adelaide Crows began the round 5th. 5 wins, 2 losses. Trying to establish their spot in the 8. What do you got, Port? Winds long. Worrell with the double fister. Miller, Keane, coming. They've got all the answers at the moment.
And the good news for Port Adelaide, you saw it at the centre clearance, Zach Butters back on the ground.
Good kick under pressure from Keane. He was under all sorts of pressure, only had one target. He had to hit it.
Michael Annie coming off a 27 possession game last week, having a good year. been solid. Well, close to the boundary. Finlayson was content to see that out. Umpire says insufficient intent. And to the letter of the law, he had insufficient intent. It's unravelling now. Still an eternity left, 14 minutes. Can their Superman, Connor Rosey, get them back and firing? Rankin has lifted, and he turns this over to Jones. Straight through him, clean ball. Keys bends it around to full forward. This is huge. Through for a behind. Wow. Every little thing now, big thing. Connor Rosey, last time he kicked it in.
Going longer, isn't it?
Turned it over. He's got Farrell short in the pocket. He ignores that. You're right. It's long and direct. Miller caught by Drew. Gave it to Dawson. Starting to find it a bit. Thilthorpe edged out of that. Umpire said it was okay. Saligo, a slip. Jones, a slip. Wines, Sin, Miller, Marias. Richards did well. Slipped the tackle, but didn't find a target. Keane goes and gets. Laird. Well, Taylor jumped here. He does from 3 deep. Competed well. Got that out. Zach Taylor. 4th season on the list for their pick 44 in 2021. It's only game 14. He had the Liz Frank foot injury. 53,000 here, as we thought. Not quite the record crowd, which is 53,698. 53,117 here tonight. And all of them on the edge of their seat right now. Port Adelaide home game. Butters could be their hero. Wines, Rosie, the big guns starting to find it. Burgon out wide. Can he find Georgiades inside 50? Miller is there. Stole it from him. Ball hits the deck. Richards. Georgiades on the back pedal. Oh, was that the required? Lord.
Well, it's a bit of a raffle, isn't it, now, given what they didn't pay earlier, but that's great composure. So the only way forward now for Port Adelaide is through their superstars. And when you go back and track that build-up,
the run and carry.
It was Butters and it was Rosie involved.
So Ollie Lord in his first showdown. He's got footy blood. Grandson of Geelong's 1962 Brownlow medalist Alistair. In he struts. It's across the face. He hasn't scored.
It's a horrible result, isn't it? Not even scoring, not making the distance, missing everything, and an intercept mark.
And Ken Hinkley knows this one's slipping away by the second. Byzantini got a hand on it. Rankin shut down quickly. And for Ken, right now, Port begin the round 13th. The lowest ladder position in 12 years under Ken Hinkley is 11th. So Port Adelaide staring at their worst ladder position all time under Ken if they can't get something going in this game and this season.
Well, they've got to take some risks and go again, don't they? Got to share it around by hand. Can't dump kick at the moment. They've got numbers behind the footy. The Adelaide Crows got to run away from stoppage here.
O'Brien. And Francis pursues it, but there's that Sharon. Ugly bounce. Berry! He was caught and gone. Miles Bourbon wrapping. The corridor's blocked. Georgiades got there for the fly and the spill. Took a little bit of Michaelani on his way through. Michaelani still slow to get up.
Yep, he copped a decent old knock, but tough as nails getting up. Umpire just checking with him.
So the Bergman-Dawson matchup, they've nullified each other, which you'd say is a win for Port Adelaide. Just 14 touches for Jordan Dawson.
Juan Francis, great smother. Goes and gets. Puts his head into Miller.
He did that well, Miller. for all intents and purposes, if he was going to tackle him, he was going to get him high, but he was very careful.
Wines. Richards. There's a hold, and it's Adelaide's free to Butts.
Come around, Jordan.
Nowhere to hide now.
Stay up, Sam.
10 and a half minutes of footy away, the Crows, from a big win in this showdown to take the lead in the head-to-head. Port Adelaide home crowd, a little edgy right now.
This will suit the Adelaide Crows too. You'll find them playing a lot of long up the line stoppages, good value for them. Let's try and set up behind the ball, lock numbers around it.
And Brian with the experience. Vicentini wraps him up. Ball forced to the back. Rochelle couldn't get away with it. Horn Francis spears it in hope. Power Pepper knocked it to Bergman's advantage in the end. Caught. A little too slick with the handoff to Butters. Adelaide Crows a chance to maybe be the biggest ladder riser of the season. They're up 10 spots right now from 15th where they finished last year. They're 5th. They want to establish a spot in the top 4. Bergman trying to stop it, and he launches it miles and miles. Not quite.
They're going to have to start taking some punts at it soon. Port Adelaide's now under 10 minutes. They've got to kick 4 goals. There's still plenty of time, but expect them to take some chances and some risks around the ball.
Got to use their hands, Root. As you said earlier, they just can't dump kick it, although Miles Bergman did a very good job of trying to kick it 75 metres, but the Crows are set up really well behind the footy. We've got to go quick.
Moraes, who's never kicked a goal in his first showdown.
He goes on to start.
Be some sort of moment if he kicked it. He centres it for the leapers. Lord got up there. Can't mark it. True. Ends it too far. And it's hit the behind post on the full.
Yeah, so expect the Adelaide Crows now to be composed. They don't need pace on the ball here.
Can't save the game from this far out either, though. Boys, you know that.
Wide they go, and Fogarty held by the arm, and the umpire, even though that was a holding free, doesn't allow player to advantage. Tex wanted to go.
Just put time back on.
21 points. Port Adelaide need 4 goals in 9 minutes in some sort of miracle finish. Bergman's been great.
It's the urgency to come back the other way. He's not there at the moment.
Flagiades gets there. Lords inside 50, and so too is Horn Francis. And this is within his repertoire.
It's got the journey, there's no question about it. Temperament, he'll step up and bang this through.
Not a father-son pick, but Father Fabian played for Port Adelaide. Played a game for Melbourne as well, and 22 for the Bears to go with it. 3 clubs, but not enough under the father-son rule. And in he steps. And he launches from 50 to behind.
At the distance comfortably, but just searching for it. Forced him to blaze it wide. They just need a little bit more composed. They're creating opportunities, Port. Got to take them though. You can't afford to be missing.
Well, 11 inside 50s, and they've scored 2 points in this last quarter.
Keen, fake to go long, hinge.
Again, they'll chip when they can, and then when they can't, it'll be long up the line.
Burgoyne flies, got a hand on it, knocked it out. Quite a few Crow fans are in the house.
Something's got to spark this crowd, Dwayne. Some sort of excitement here. A little bit of magic from their magic couple.
Crow fans not in full voice about Mead. Richards got free, got on the boot, and Worrell claims he touched that. Now, is it a goal? The soft call might be big here.
Review underway.
He looked touched, and Josh Worrell seems like a pretty honest kind of guy.
Review complete. Looking at this angle, you see the ball deviates after making contact with the hands of the Adelaide defender. Decision on the scoreboard.
Sure you all saw that deviation at home? Good eyes.
It was.
Cue the Blues.
Well, it's living in one half.
Yeah.
And they just need a goal to spark things up and get their belief going. So they've been honest and they're working really hard to get back in it. Maybe he's got a position on Francis the deepest here.
O'Brien nearly. New Bullen. Central ball it works. Taylor takes off.
Well done. Couldn't go down the line, so came square.
Peddling. Good commitment from Burton. Smother, keeps it in the area, winds, can't get away with it, that is gone. Fast train coming, wrapped him up.
Hard man to tackle, Ollie Wines too, did a good job, wrapped him up. They are playing for time here at the moment.
They've definitely just got a signal from the boundary to look like just take as much time as you can.
They've got no urgency about them at all, so they've got a 19-point lead, which is going to require 4 goals inside the last 6.5 minutes. So they're content just to play conservative, go down the line. So it's up to Port Adelaide right now to just rip this game out of where it's at and try and just generate something.
Ball to the back, Neil Bullen. To Keys. What was it? To Tex. Knocked it down. Berry can't pounce. Taylor pounced on. But with each passing second, the Crows are closer.
Worked that one out for us, Joe. Sure, the crossword king.
Tough it out.
Tough it out.
I don't know. There's someone assigned at the club to make the signs up, to come up with the lateral thoughts. There is Matthew Nix.
And you can't use the same cryptic signs that other clubs use either.
What about putting up 6.5 minutes?
Is there ever the teams that put up a false sign just to try and fool you into thinking there's a play, but there's none? Miller.
That's the dumb kick they...
Turnover. And it is a laugh for Port Adelaide. Huge moment for Moraes. He's never kicked an AFL goal in his first showdown. He gives it to Georgiades, sidesteps, and Georgiades blows his line.
There was the spark.
Well, that was the opportunity. A horrible turnover from Miller. And they just couldn't take it. As you said, guys, so many opportunities and lost that their third behind.
Yeah, so inside 50s for the fourth quarter for the Port Adelaide Footy Club, 13 for 4 behinds.
That could have been a massive moment. Butters goes up, knocks it down. Keys, I don't think the umpire's going to allow that. Insufficient intent.
But it's down to 3 goals now with that one, so almost like a goal.
I can hear it in your voice, Roo. I can hear it in your voice.
We've seen some tight finishes and showdowns.
They haven't kicked the goal for 29 minutes, Port Adelaide. They need one.
Georgiades gets up. Can't mark it. Neil Bullen. Back the other way was Sin. It's in there somewhere.
And the other
umpire circling, says ball up.
The other reason they desperately need a goal, guys, is that will then open things up. You go back to the 6-6-6 and you get a chance for a centre clearance with an open forward line.
Butters, Sin. Can they scramble a mark? They can't, because dropping back is Taylor. And we're down to 5 minutes and change now. 3 goals, 5 minutes been done before. And as Ruth said, showdowns do throw up some crazy things at times. Phil Thorpe stalks it, can't get near it. O'Brien tried to slap on. Almost ball, you'd think. Saligo was wrapped up, gone.
Back it goes again. Back it goes. Can Georgiades get on the end of it? Do they hit someone up short? Try and break it up. Try and get it to the other side of the ground. Do something. 4.5 minutes approaching.
1 goal could change the whole world here. They need a hero off hands to spill. Ball flicked out.
Throw.
Had to be. Free kick, Port. Who's going to take it?
A backhanded throw out of a pack
Well, boys, it's getting very tight and tough in the last quarter. Port Adelaide only have 2 interchanges left, and Adelaide have got 6.
Okay.
It's a weird action from Rory, and then to complain about it because he just lifts it with the left hand.
This is massive here. This will build pressure if he can kick this.
To make it a 2-kick game. Darcy Burn-Jones all the way with DBG. Game on.
Plenty of time on the clock. Plenty of time to kick a couple of goals. And they are going to get nervous, the Adelaide Crows. So it was all about just a little brain fade.
Well, in the end, they deserve it because they built pressure by putting it back in and putting it back in. They needed something like that to go their way.
I don't know why Rory Led was going off at the umpire after the decision. I mean, it looked obvious. But now it comes back to the centre clearance. Who can win the centre clearance?
Reward for effort in this last 10 minutes. They've just pounded it in 17 times. They put it inside forward 50 before they were able to score their first goal in the last quarter. Never had a draw in a showdown. 28 apiece at the moment. 2 goals the margin. Plenty of time.
Others, Bergman and Wines in for the centre bounce.
Buckle up. Get your seatbelt on for this ride. 4 minutes, 2 goals. That's the equation. No need to tell you how big the clearance is here. Tied off the deck. Race on. Burgoyne got there. Lays the tackle, holds it in.
Go for each other, guys.
So one-on-one, as you called before, Jace, the goal means that they can reset. So ahead of the footy now, they're one-on-one everywhere.
Wines. Gave it to Butters. Weaved his way through them. Bergman's been brilliant. Goes long. Finlayson. One hand. Well, behind makes it interesting.
Two
kicks from the lead now.
But you saw the way forward was to use their hands out of the stoppage there.
2 goals from the lead. Wines jumps off the back. Trickler from Saligo. Out of bounds, a win for the Crows, you would think. Adigalia content to back it out. And the signs keep getting put up on the bench. The crazy signs of 2025 football, whatever that means. You can make your own guess at home.
Well, how they exit this is so critically important. Butters gets involved. They run the ball out.
I can guess what Port's green sign means. Worrell took him on. Back in the shoulder by Jones. Bergman. Heads long. Rossetti forward. Oh, he flew too high.
Got to be unrealistic attempt, had to be. Didn't touch the ball. I've got a feeling, yeah, you're right. You know, the green sign means go for Port Adelaide. That sign from Adelaide probably means you're all in deep doo-doo if you drop on 2 goals in the next 3 minutes and we lose this one.
It was something out of play school. Down the line, that travel. Almost unrealistic leap from the fog.
Except he did it over his own man. That was the difference.
Burgoyne to half forward. Oh, Taylor's claimed that. Oh, I said no.
It's just got this slow growing inevitability about it. They're just grinding at the moment, Port Adelaide.
It's got that feel about it, though. It's got that feel that it's not over yet. The Hornet. Got it up to Wines. Gets it up to Bergman. And he blasts it long. That's a win for Port.
It's all or nothing now down here, forward 50. So you're looking at Butters and you're looking at Rosie, who's gone forward now.
Forward. They'll all be on the move, Gaz.
Even Ken's on the move.
So if you're Adelaide, you've got to keep it back towards the boundary, keep numbers, defensive side.
Bizantini knocks it down. Connor Rosie!
Well, they are so lucky they didn't get punished. How do you allow that to happen?
It was the most. Everyone in the grounds looking at Connor Rosie push forward at that stoppage and go, well, he's going all or nothing here, and he should have kicked the goal. If you're going to be really harsh.
That gives the ball back to the Crows. Hammered long. Bizantini from 4 deep, got a fist on it, knocks it to the front. Wines. Burgoyne. Marias! Oh, not quite. Finlayson, the flying Finn, flies to a goal. There's a kick in it with 1:47 left.
It was happening, Jason. It was just slow and inevitable, and it was grinding, and it is absolutely the credit of the Port Adelaide Footy Club. They've done it the hard way. 20 inside 50s in the last quarter, and they've just now kicked their second goal, and they've put the fear of God through this Adelaide side. We thought they were home 5 minutes ago. Unbelievable. You've just got to give yourself a chance. You just give yourself a chance. You keep putting it in there. One side refused to concede. The other side thought, no, we'll just work our way home from here without scoring. And now here they are.
Put down all sharp objects, whatever you're doing. It's a 1 minute and 47 game. Port Adelaide a goal from a miracle comeback win. And the Hornets got it. Horn Francis weaves his way through the middle. Launches long. Finlayson gets there. Oh, what a It goes to Graham. Is that a game saver? Is that the showdown moment?
Oh, Howard.
Keane dropping back with the flight.
The courage going back into the pack.
What a mark, Chief. What a mark.
Every showdown has a moment. Is it the Keane moment? Where will you win? The Irishman saved the game.
There's still plenty of time here, but I tell you what, if they get over the line here, that man's taken one of the marks of the year.
Are they getting anything out of Riley Thilthorpe, having him sitting deep forward ahead of the footy? Get him behind the ball goes.
Get everyone behind the footy right now.
Not done yet. Butterswin's a free.
So they wasted 6 or 7 minutes, Shane, without going forward, and now they get...
Got to get Thilthorpe deep in defence.
Burton. The seconds tick. Is there a hero for Port? Finlayson can't get it. Brian!
Time, and he needs to make a good decision here and execute the skill.
He thought about going across goal there for a moment. Someone suggested that wouldn't be a wise thing.
Worrell hammers it away. We're down to 30 seconds. Flyers go up. Massive crumb to win. Neil Bullen. It'll be insufficient in Turner rolls out, but it stays in. Jones, Rankin. Jones knocked it out then.
That kick was spectacular.
Now you get everyone behind the footy, James. There's only 1 or 2 more plays left in
He's
the
going
game.
forward again, Thilthorpe. I don't get this. In fact, there's 3 or 4 of them going forward. What on earth are they doing that for?
There's one-on-ones ahead of the footy, and their spare is about 2.5 kicks away right now.
Back into play. Seconds tick. Through Wine's hands. No free. Barry's got it. And it might be over. A couple of bounces. Heads toward goal for the finishing touch. A behind, but there won't be time off. It's one of the all-time great showdowns. That wasn't a showdown. That was a showcase of how great our beautiful game can be. The Adelaide Crows win a thriller. Showdown 57. A win for the Crows. Takes them to 29 showdown wins to Port's 28. Catch your breath.
Well, there'll be lessons to be learned everywhere here, Jace. There is... they deserve to win the Adelaide Crows. Let's put that on the table. But when you look at what happened in the last 20 minutes, and we'll unpack it in a moment, let's go down to Sean Neville.
And with the Crows superstar, Isaac, talk us through that last quarter, and more importantly, your magic moment in the goal square, that soccer off the ground. Probably wasn't on my way. I'm in the midfield, so I sent me forward, and we had a structure, and we sort of played to it, and we knew our structure was going to get them done in the last, so we all stuck to it, and I was lucky enough to get on the end of the view. Just talk us through that goal, though. The goal? No, mate, he just had this. I just put the boot in that went through, so it was nice. And what were you thinking that last bit of, last 2 or 3 minutes there where Paul were coming for you guys, and then you take a really good intercept marks in the back line? What were you thinking at the other end? Oh, just someone mark it, please, or spoil it out of bounds. Jersey just kicked a nice goal, so I didn't want him to take another mark. Haro was up for sure. It was a fantastic win, mate. Congratulations.
We've seen some great marks in our time, and the people who are judge mark of the week, the mark of the year, this has to be in the context of where they are. Look at him, and look what he does, Mark Keane. back into traffic, not knowing what's coming the other way at a critical time. Just a hero, as was this man who's with Mark Mashuda.
Well, he took some great grabs, but gee, Mark Keynes was pretty good there, wasn't it, late?
Yeah, unbelievable. I thought he was great all day. And stand up at the moment on the day just shows what he's about. All the time work he's done, so very exciting.
What about you? You're on fire in the first half.
Yeah, not too bad. I thought we were moving it pretty well, getting a deep one-on-one. Miz gave me a bit of a chance, so it was all right, but a great team performance to finish off.
Did the message come out with about 6 minutes to go to slow it down? It looked like it might have been a little bit too early.
Not necessarily slow it down, but just take control of it and try and take the sting out of the game, because that would come with a bit of momentum, so just try to take the sting out of it.
You've dislocated 3 fingers. Hold your hand up in front of the camera. 4 fingers you've dislocated, and you're still marking it. That's 5 contested marks in the first half.
Yeah, well, I've never done a finger before, so this year's been pretty unlucky, but yeah, it's good to climb the field and help out the team.
Get over there with your teammates. Great win.
Appreciate it.
So, Jace, just talk us through what happened in that last quarter from a Port Adelaide point of view and why I think Adelaide, as we said, they're deserving winners, but Port Adelaide will go to work on that last quarter.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because with 10 minutes to go, they're 4 goals up, Adelaide. And they go into that, no risk, long up the line, slow when we can. And you can sit there and argue, is it too early to do that? If you get beaten, you go, yes, it is. If you win, you go, no, it was the right thing to do. But Port Adelaide started to dominate because of that. They created opportunity after opportunity going forward. 22 inside 50s to 9, and yet their return is 2 goals to Adelaide's 3 goals. They're doing something horribly wrong, aren't they?
And then I'm looking at the clearance, 21-7 in favour of Port Adelaide.
Which is why the territory was so lopsided, but they couldn't convert.
So anyway, these games are built up for a reason, and at the start of it I thought this Adelaide side had enough talent to really separate themselves, but you just give credit to Port Adelaide, who the last quarter summed it up a bit. They just refused to yield at all.
Came into the showdown 57 with 28 wins each, so it's now 29 to 28. And it is a showcase of Australian rules football, every showdown. Edge of the seat stuff from go to woe. And it's just a joy to be here to see footy played with this brilliance by 2 of the premier teams of the competition. And the Adelaide Crows on track to make finals for the first time ever under Matthew Nicks in his 6th season as coach. 18th, 15th, 14th, 10th, and then 15th last year, and they are up to 5th right now. 6 wins and 2 losses, and the future is bright for the Adelaide Crows this season. They are a contender.
They are. There's no question about that. They're beautifully placed right now. They are really well placed, and they've got improvement to come, but they've got a lot of the tools that you need to be successful with the way the game is played today. And they did it without their captain, and the man, as you said throughout the night, who's leading the Coaches Award, having just, by his standards, it's an ordinary sort of a game. He's only had the 14 possessions. The Bergman matchup was a surprise to all of us at the start of the game, and in the end it's worked for them. But Adelaide has still prevailed despite that.
Rankin only had the 16 touches. He managed to kick those 2 critical goals in the last term. Saligo didn't get much of the ball at all, so the midfield was pretty impotent for much of the night.
Let's head down to the presentation.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you all for attending tonight's 57th showdown between the Port Adelaide Football Club and the Adelaide Football Club. Tonight's voting of the showdown medal has been carried out by a panel of industry experts. I'd now like to invite Miliana, who is a variety grandchild, to present the showdown medal awarded to the best player on the field. And the winner of the showdown medal from the Port Adelaide Football Club, Connor Rosie.
First of all, just the variety group, just a massive thanks to your support. It goes a long way, and to the pros, great game, and thanks to everyone to keep turning up. We'll be back here and find it out for the rest of the season, so thanks. To present the Variety Showdown Shield to Jordan Dawson
and the Adelaide Crows.
Just want to say thanks to Port Adelaide. Always a great battle against you guys, and we highly respect you guys. To our fans who showed up on the away showdown, unbelievable atmosphere out here, and we love having you guys here. To Variety, thank you for sponsoring the event. As always, such a great cause, and we love playing for you guys. And to our boys, awesome win. What's up?
You are watching Super Saturday live on Fox, brought to you by the all-electric Toyota BZ4X6. Celebration time for the Adelaide Crows. David King, Jack Rewalt, Jake Clark. The showdown, it just never disappoints, and Showdown 57 was no different. It was an epic, a 5-point win to the Adelaide Crows. They go ahead in the head-to-head record with their 29th Showdown victory over Port's 28 wins. Gents, how can you not love this rivalry?
Oh, we've been treated to an absolutely fantastic Super Saturday live here on Fox, and it's been capped off with a brilliant game, and a game that we came in thinking that maybe was going to be one-sided, with the Adelaide Crows looking dominant last week leading into this one, but you can never predict a showdown. They're always close, and Port Adelaide had their opportunities. Unfortunately for them, they come away 5-point losers.
We've seen some great showdowns. That has to be right up there. That's one of the great showdown games, and all the ebbs and flows. And as the guys said late, I mean, that's one of the great marks, really. We'll be talking about that Mark Keane grab for a long time. We saw Collingwood go hard to try and poach him. The end of last year, they signed him for an extra 3 years. They play the Pies next week, and that is just courage personified.
We should try talk to him, I think, Mark Keane. He should be interviewing the change rooms.
You see how you go with that one, Kat. Look, that was a cracking game, and the stars come to play. I thought Butters and Rosie were unbelievable all night. They smashed them at clearance. I don't think I've seen the Crows humbled like that at clearance for a long time. I thought Thilthorpe was clearly the best player on the ground. Everything that come near him, he marked. He took 10 marks, 5 contested.
Should he have won the medal?
So the medalist is wrong, yeah.
Well, I'm waiting for the voting. I really am. I can't wait to see how.
Do you think Rosie was the best player for Port tonight?
I thought Butters was involved in everything. Rosie had a wild night. He was great in facets of the game.
So who would you have voted for?
I would have voted for Thilthorpe. I thought he was the best player on the ground. He had 10 score involvements, had 5 contested marks.
And this is we rate key players so harshly. I mean, you could have won a Brownlow, Jack. I'm sure if you didn't. If you were, but I mean,
thank you.
But that's the thing. Like, do we give enough love to the key defenders and the key forwards across the competition? It's always the midfielders' medal every time.
Thilthorpe's he's had 15 touches, and of the 15, 10 were involved in scoring, most on the ground, and it wasn't an easy ball. Well, he just destroyed whoever was in his area. In isolation, he's the reason they've won the game. So to win ugly like that, or win in a different way, it was inside versus outside, really, the game. And the Crows found a way. It's a big win in the totality for their season going forward. It's a big win.
And he set the tone early, didn't he, Thilthorpe? I think he had about 3 marks inside 50s in the first 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, and you were looking at the matchup going, who is going to play on him? It was Aliir for the majority of the night. And look, he's a man mountain. I think he's the best player on the ground. But you look at some of the stats that matter usually, and Port have smacked them in inside 50s, plus 22.
So this is my point, right? So they've had 41 inside 50s, and that guy's involved in 10 scores. If they have the normal average of about 52, you can load up again. You can normalise it if you like, but it doesn't matter. They don't care. Look at them right now. They don't care who's individually best on ground. They've found a way to win. I think Matty Nix, he'll be wrapped with his backline for them to hold up against 63 inside 50s, and everyone will talk about that one mark. But, gee, they had to fight. They had to hold up against the weight of volume.
And I think character from Port too. I mean, when you think the week they've had, belted by 90 points by the Dogs. I mean, they did push this to the end.
Settle, David. Settle, David.
I had to have a little lay down after this one. He was just about to do his thing. The Magic Man. And look, he was there. He was there again. Not sure whether you saw that one, Jack, but he put this game in Adelaide's favour in the space of 5 minutes.
It's what the good players do. They show up when you need them, and he stood up. He had a quiet first 3 quarters there, but from there, he was fantastic in that last quarter. We were treated to a really really tight game that they got close in the end there. Dustin and Jones.
Look at this for Paul Francis. He just knocked it out to the advantage of Finlayson. That was brilliant.
And not the only one. That clearance at the end, I mean, Jason Horne-Francis, and that's just courage personified. It might be the best mark of the season. Here's another view of it.
Not many players see it and then still go.
Had 12 of them tonight too. That's the other one. He's had 12 intercepts tonight, Kenny, and this is the final play there where the clock ran out. But that is how you earn respect from your teammates. It's how you earn respect from the competition as a club with acts like that last one there.
I agree with Gary. I think it's a contender for Mark of the Year. And that sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? He's just basically ran back with the flight and taken a strong contested mark. There will be more aesthetic marks taken this year.
But it's a shame because of the circumstances of the game.
He doesn't take that, they probably lose.
So what is that? What are those 2 or 3 seconds like, you two? When you don't know.
I've never known. Ask Jack.
When you don't know what's coming from behind you, what goes through your head in that moment?
Oh, you just got to go. And I think, like, amplified with the fact that this is a showdown and they are 1 goal up and you just have to go. And he's not a natural Australian, didn't grow up playing this game, just went back with the flight, went bang. And it nearly has won the game for Adelaide.
Look how pumped they all are in the Adelaide change rooms. A 5-point victory in Showdown 57. It's got to be the competition's best rivalry. Here we go. Victory to the Adelaide Crows in Showdown 57. It sees them move to 6-3 for season 2025 as they aim to play finals football for the first time under Matthew Nicks. Do you think they're going to get there?
I think they're flying. I think they're playing some pretty good footy. That was an ugly win. They had to find a way to win it a different way to the norm, and they did. And it was only really bursts that got them there. But they've got some star factor players in there. They didn't have their best night, but had some moments.
Yeah, I think that's the important thing to look at. When you win ugly, and Jordan Dawson was obviously well held tonight, but he still had, I think, 9 tackles. So Adelaide's defence was built off pressure, and pressure was at 198 tonight from an Adelaide football point of view. So Dawson doesn't get the possessions and doesn't hit the scoreboards that we've seen him do over the last month, but he does the dirty acting, getting there and tackling, and Peatling as well was fantastic in that area.
Is there any chance Riley Thilthorpe, we just mentioned him, can he be a top 10 player in the competition? Is that top 5, top 10? Is he in that echelon now?
He's just it's about stringing games together, and he'll string games together and then he'll string good games together where he's kicking 5, 6 a week. I think he can certainly be top 3 in terms of key forwards. Where that sits him in the competition, I mean, he's got to be right at the point end.
Fingers crossed we get to chat to Mark Keane from the winning change rooms shortly, but I think we need to replay this, Mark, and I think we need to replay it over and over again because it was a stunning moment, and this is what showdowns and derbies and derbies, these great crosstown rivalries are all about, these moments, and Mark Keane had his moment tonight. What impressed you most about it? Was it purely the circumstances of the match?
He looks there. He just turns and he says, it's got to be me. I've got to go. Just watch his head here. Just turns and looks here, there.
Oh, yeah.
And then he says, no, I know what's coming, but you know what? The boys need me. I'm going to go. And that is unbelievable courage.
So that's your clubhouse leader for Mark of the Year?
Yeah, it is for me. It'll be hard to beat, I reckon.
Jack?
No, there'll be a hanger that'll beat that.
But is it your clubhouse leader?
It's not.
Just say it is because Mark Keane's listening. Let's go to Mark.
Mark, it is. Read the Mark of the Year.
Actually, I'm told he's not actually listening.
Okay.
Cut away.
Sorry, Mark. No.
Do we have him now? Is he ready to go now? Not yet. So let's just keep applauding the Mark while we wait.
So how do you assess that situation from a Port Adelaide perspective? Can we have a look again? If you look at the Port Adelaide defenders in there, because Finlayson's from behind and he kicks some unbelievable goals, but how will Ken Hinkley review this situation, you think? We're going to see it a lot.
Oh, look, I think in terms of the final play...
Yeah, in that marking...
Like, Jason Horne-Francis was fantastic out of the middle for starters, but this is just those moments where they're 50-50. And Keane's obviously taken the mark and probably won the game for Adelaide at that point in time.
We've got him.
Have we got him?
We've got him. We've got him. Let's head to the Crows change rooms now because Mark Keane has been good enough to join us. Mark, congratulations on an epic showdown win. Jack and Keane were just saying your mark was the best mark, got to be mark of the year. Tell us what was going through your mind, because that is going to be replayed time and time again over the next 24 hours, the next 48 hours.
I'll tell you exactly what was on my mind. I let Finlayson get a goal just 30 seconds beforehand. And I said the next time the ball comes in, I'm going to have to do everything in my hands to just get this ball out. And happy enough, I just went back at the fight and fell into my lap.
Mark, fantastic night, a great night for your football club. That back six was under enormous pressure all night. 63 inside 50s against, we're just watching it here. When you looked and you saw what was coming and still went, just run us through what was going through your mind at that stage.
Yeah, no, I just like to read the kickers' cues, and I just felt like the defenders have been blocking out all year. See, that was a great block, and Botsy there as well. So, yeah, no, they give me great confidence to go back at it.
Do you realise how big and important this is to your football clubs? Obviously tonight, but the season, to win the showdown, it's the biggest ticket in town in South Australia, and you are the man of the moment. It's an incredible effort.
I'm not too sure if I'm the man of the moment. We had people like Isaac Rankin, Filthy, winning us that game up in the forward line. So, yeah, we had some really good players play well tonight. So I'm not too sure if I'm the man of the moment. I just had to do my job down back, so when it mattered.
No, Jay is the chief football writer at the Herald Sun, and we're agreeing that is man of the moment.
Put it on a pedestal, that's for sure. How did you treat the contest? It was always going to be hot, Mark. How did Nixie and the crew, because last year there were some hot-headed moments and maybe you lost your nerves. How did you approach it tonight?
Yeah, we just wanted to play footy. That's what we're here for, is playing footy and have a good brand of footy, and just whoever wins the contest is footy and wins the footy will win the game. And I'd like to think that we put our heads where you wouldn't put your shoes, so no, we're very happy with that.
I like that. I like that. Put your heads where you wouldn't put your shoes. That's perfect. Hey, listen, this will be watched around the world. Give them a little shout out back in County Cork. They'll be watching tonight. They've just seen you win the game for the Crows. Give them a shout out.
100%. No, shout out to Mitchelstown, Jay and Ballygibbon back home. But no, thankfully my dad flew in 2 days ago with his partner as well. So it was great to have him down for his first game in 2 years.
Do your relatives back home get around the game? Do they understand all the rules?
They do, yeah, but this is actually the only game that wasn't shown on TV back home. Every game this season has been shown on TV back home except this one, so I'm not too sure. I'd have to get TG Carr or RTE News onto that.
Well, you got to send them the
Well, you actually can't watch KO. You can't watch KO overseas.
Matt, we don't want you to say that.
No more, please.
What do you make of your defensive prowess at the moment, mate? 12 intercepts today. Worrell has 8 as well. You guys are starting to develop a really strong back six. Mitch Hinge comes back into the side tonight. It looks like you're starting to steady up down there.
Yeah, we don't want to be playing one-on-one. We like to be coming off and helping each other out. And you can see with all our intercept marks, they're probably coming off someone and helping out. So that's probably, you're never really going to be stuck one-on-one. So we just want to come out and help and try and intercept the footy.
And the belief in the group, Mark. So you haven't played finals, but I mean, who knows how far you could go this year? How deep could you run in September, and how strong is that finals ambition?
Oh, we haven't really talked about that. We're only round 9, so yeah, the focus is on Collingwood next week. So yeah, it's only round 9. There's a long year there yet. So
thank you, Matthew Nixon. One game at a time. We'll get that bit. You've got the capability, though, Mark. You must look around that change room and think you're good enough with the best sides.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. We like the footy that we're playing. Maybe tonight wasn't the best footy that we've played, but look, it doesn't matter how you get over the line once you get to 4 points.
We marvel at Riley Thilthorpe, and you get to see him in the flesh at training, and no doubt you've had some battles over the summer and pre-season. How hard is he to play one-on-one? But he certainly gave Port Adelaide key defenders a lesson in the aerial part of the game tonight.
Oh, he's very hard one-on-one, but I don't play enough. I get Nick Murray to go on him. I said, Muzz, you take him.
I'd say the same.
I'll go to the 36-year-old and text.
Hey, Mark, you've been an absolute joy to watch and to talk to tonight. Congratulations on this epic win.
Thanks a million for having me.
What a pleasure to have him. Great value.
Mark of the year and post-game chat of the year.
And a good plug for KO.
If you want to watch the replay of that interview, it'll be heavily edited, of course. We'll be taking sections out of that. That was
just one key section.
Very entertaining.
Oh, how good's that?
I'll just give a shout out in Cork. I know they can't get
You'd be flat your whole family seen every game you've ever played, except for the one that he's
his old man's come out, he's special and he's performed in front of me. But that was incredible. We did go into that interview a bit of trepidation as well. We were a bit worried about that.
I'm not going to believe the old man when he goes home and says, you wouldn't believe it. Come on.
Go on, prove it.
Oh, that was so good.
That was good. And he needs to come back on Super Saturday Live. Mark King, great value. Awesome mark tonight. The other game that was on this evening, it was a Saturday night doubleheader. We really pumped it up and it delivered because this was another cracking match in Darwin. In the end, it was the Gold Coast Suns holding on by 10 points. The Dogs were coming, though, right up until the end. I think they got within 3 points with 3 minutes remaining, so there was plenty of time left on the clock. But the Suns, they held on, and there was a good celebration from your old coach, Damien Hardwick, too.
Yeah, he gave a real Ric Flair woo. He loves those when...
How does it go?
When he goes, woo! I'll always come with you, don't worry. But this is a fascinating game in the top end, and certainly late. They came, the Bulldogs, and we've been privy to a couple of games today that have challenged right in that last quarter, and these dying moments here, the Bulldogs had their opportunities. I think it was 3 goals down with 4 minutes to play and thought, oh, maybe this game's done, but all of a sudden they just went bang, bang, bang. Marcus Bontempelli was involved in a late goal too. So, look, I think, unfortunately for the Bulldogs, they come up short, but I think both clubs would be pretty happy coming away from the Dogs would have liked the points, but they played pretty well again.
Didn't lose any admirers tonight.
No, certainly not.
Gee, they're hard to beat, aren't they? That's 7 in a row now. I mean, you talk about fortresses, you know. You got to win your home games if you're going to play finals, and they've banked their home games over the last 12 months. There's the Ric Flair.
Yeah.
What was it again? Woo! Yeah, that's better. Second effort.
Yeah. Well,
it's a big win. It's a strong win.
It's a big win. You speak about the Fortress as well, is that they play there again this week. They play Hawthorn on Thursday night up there, which is going to be a great night up there on Thursday night footy, and it's an opportunity for them to win away from home, but at a home game again for Gold Coast.
You mentioned Tommy Liberatore earlier, King. He finished with 35 possessions, 10 tackles and 10 clearances. He is having some sort of season, the heart and soul midfielder.
Alistair Lynch was there on the ground and he caught up with Mac Andrew post-game.
All right, we won't worry about that game. Let's get back to this game, folks. Well, what a cracking last quarter. Port Adelaide, come on. But Adelaide, they hung on. 13-11-89, defeating Port Adelaide per 12-12-84. Wowee. Wowee. All right, folks, let's just go and have a look. I just want to say thanks. Hey, thanks everyone for coming in. We had that poll. Who's going to win this game today? 55% said Adelaide. Well done to the good folks there who said Adelaide. Just before we go, we're just going to have a look at the goal scorers and the stats quickly before we end. For Adelaide, Riley Thilthorpe, Darcy Fogarty, both with 3 each. Aranki Rochelle, Keys with 2 each for Adelaide. Neil Bullen, Neil Bullen with 1. And, of course, for Port Adelaide, Jeremy Finlayson with 3. Sam Powell-Pepper ended up with 2 with Georgiades, Darcy Byrne-Jones. Singles to Connor Rose, Jason Norton-Francis, Ryan Burton. There we go. There's your goal scorers. Zach Butters, top the table, 33. Connor Rose, second, 32. Ollie Wines, 31. Only people in the 30s, of course, are from Port Adelaide. For Adelaide, 24 top the table, James Peatling, Josh Burrell with 23. Let's just roll down a little bit. Addy G, great game. Go Crows again. No, not the Crows against the Pies. Pies will win that game. Come on. Go Pies. I think that's at the MCG, isn't it? I think that's at the MCG. Taylor the Tex, Walker, 13 touches. 2 behinds. He didn't put any goals on the board today. Wowee. There we go. There are your stats. Just rolling down quickly so you can have a bit of a look. Team stats, not a great deal in it. 20-28 in the end. Disposal count, Port Adelaide got on top there. Inside 50s, Scoring shots, 24 scoring shots, Port Adelaide, inside 63 times. Not a great, not a great result. 41 inside 50s for Adelaide, 24 scoring shots. They did really, really well. Disposal efficiency, both teams smack on 67 for free kicks. All pretty tidy there, 19-20. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Hit-outs, Crows by 10. Clearances, Port Adelaide. Wowee, 56-29, dominated Adelaide. Centre clearances, +3 to Port Adelaide. Stoppage clearances, Port Adelaide had it all over Adelaide there today, 42-18. Not a great deal in contested possession there, just a 12. Uncontested, 30 +2 Port Adelaide. Marks all similar, 74-79, Adelaide +5. Marks inside 50, good to see both teams getting plenty of chances. Contested mark, Adelaide, bit stronger in the air. Tackles, wowee. Adelaide, they put the hammer down with the pressure, didn't they? 80 tackles, Adelaide in the game. 57's their average. Fantastic, well done. Tackles inside 50, both teams doing reasonably well there. Let's just see if this live ladder has loaded up. And there it is. Adelaide Crows after the victory today, of course. Gold Coast won today, beating the Western Bulldogs. Hawthorn won, Collingwood won, so it doesn't change the top 5. Adelaide Crows, though, after playing 9, 6 wins, 3 losses, up to 24 points. I tell you what, the top 4 is going to be, it's going to be a tight battle for the top 4 going forward, especially with the Western Bulldogs and Geelong. Well, you can pick your raffle for who's going to end up 8th. Who knows? That could be anyone's opportunity because all these teams are playing pretty ordinary football down here. Who knows? Could even be North Melbourne. Could even be Richmond. You just don't know. Just don't know. But there is a ladder for the happy Adelaide people. Of course, Port Adelaide, I'll tell you what, they're on a slide. They're down there in 13th position. Only won 4, lost 5. Showdown, 57, goes to the Adelaide Crows, folks. What a victory. You got to love the derbies they've got over there. That's right. Let's check out next week's. Hey, don't forget tomorrow. We've got some big matches, of course, coming up. This is going to be an interesting game. 2 teams that are struggling to win this year. Richmond against West Coast Eagles at the MCG. I tell you what, folks, I do like Richmond in this game. I think it's a chance for their up-and-coming young future players to get the job done over West Coast at the MCG. Following that game, well, we'll probably get the final 3 quarters of that game. Geelong taking on the GWS Giants. That's going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game. That's played down at GMHBA Stadium down there in Geelong at 3:20 p.m. Melbourne time. That's going to be a ripper. We want GWS to win that game. We don't want Geelong to get up there. My gosh. All right, and the last game to round out round 9 is the game where the biggest upset of the season is going to be held so far. It's when North Melbourne is going to defeat the Brisbane Lions. There we go. At some stadium. I don't know what that stadium is. Where is that stadium? 4:40 p.m. Ninja Stadium in Hobart. That's the way. 4:40 p.m. Melbourne time. So we'll probably get the first 3, 4. We'll get the first game, Richmond West Coast, fully in. And then we'll get probably the last 3 quarters of the Geelong GWS game, and then we'll definitely get the last half of North Melbourne Brisbane Lions game in for everyone tomorrow. It should be an absolute cracker. Now, Eddie G was saying, let me just check who these teams are playing next week. It's going to be pretty interesting. Port Adelaide and Adelaide. Of course, you're right. Adelaide take on the might of the Collingwood Football Club at the MCG next Saturday. That's going to be an absolute ring-a-ding-ding game. It's a game you don't want to miss. Hey, what about the next one? Port Adelaide. They're taking on the Geelong Cats over there at the Adelaide Oval. It's a home game for Port Adelaide. That's going to be a big, big match. There's 2 big matches coming up for these teams. Wowee. Big stakes for whoever wants to win that. All right, folks. Hey, that's it. Thanks, everyone, for popping on in. Don't forget, you see Game Board in there. Make sure you follow her channel. She'll be starting up some some basketball and footy and all that type of jazz, some sports stuff as well with Adrian Sports Channel there. You know, he's doing the basketball. Get over there and check him out as well, everyone. All right, folks, that's it from me. Hey, thanks very much for coming in. I'll say ciao for now, and we will see you tomorrow at the next game. Richmond taking on the West Coast Eagles, 1:10 p.m. Melbourne time. Hey, you don't want to miss that game. It's going to be a cracker. It's going to be a cracker. All right, folks, we'll catch you later.